We're going to have a little fun. I think we can check out some fun and little channel stuff. Let's see, how about... let's see what Kay's up to. If anything new is on Kay's channel, shall we? Ooh, we got pudding. A vegan meal. I don't know, what looks good to all of you? Clouded eggs, chicken... What the hell is chicken supreme? Chicken sham... Oh, God. We did ratatouille. Let's find a good one. A beef stroganoff and rice. Nah, I think we're this one. Risoles? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. We're gonna have fun. A little K. Yeah, hi people, you're cooking again. 1 second. Boop. Robot, this is just your lucky day, isn't it? A little K's cooking.
And I'm back cooking again, and today I'm going to be doing rissoles. Right, as you can see, I've got all the ingredients around me. Well, not around me, but all the ingredients that I'm going to need. Now I'm going to cut the honey anno. Ooh, there's an extra bit inside.
This is just made her camera quality go down a little bit for these last couple videos here.
And take all the skin off it.
It's not that much older. It's like, what, it's from August? Oh, no, it's from last year. That's why.
There we are.
I'm dumb.
I'm going to cut it in half so I can get the...
Still, better than Dave.
Rest of the onion thing outside, actually. Now I've cut it off. I'm going to cut these.
Why do you cut it this way?
As I can. As you know, my eyes aren't very good, so I have to.
No, I did not know how bad your eyesight was. Oh my God! Oh God! Oh God! No, stop! It is sad, but you should stop doing this stuff.
So that is going to go into a dish. I'm going to cut the other one. I'm going to cut the other one. Well, I'll cut the other one now.
She better be wearing her glasses while she does this part, at the very least.
Then I'm going to put them all in a dish. I am scared to death of these knives.
We're scared for you.
Right, so I've cut the onions up. I'm going to put them into this dish. Then I'm going to show you and add all the rest of the ingredients. Then the breadcrumbs. So there's two ounces of breadcrumbs put in. Hold on, what's the next on the
You know
list?
she just dumped that meat in there without draining the blood or anything,
salt
probably,
and pepper.
like she tends to do. Oh, that, yeah. That's definitely true.
Pepper.
It's not her fault Dave's awful. It's Dave's fault that Dave
Even
is
though I
awful.
don't like salt and pepper in my
God, those onions are huge.
in anything of mine, because I don't like the salt and they don't like the pepper. A tablespoon. Come on. Tablespoon of parsley. I'm gonna put...
I'd almost say that
And a
Gina's camera work is
teaspoon
better
of
than Dave's, and she doesn't even know how they work. True. Very true.
So vicious of a taste. It's so hot. That's a teaspoon. Same a breathing game. And I'm going to mix it all in. And then I'm going to add. I can't talk today.
We're going to hag
add an
something.
egg. Oops, throwing mincemeat out. And I'm going to mix that with my hands. Right, I think let me just check on my list. Yes, I've got everything. Yes, done. I'm going to mix it with my hands, and then I'm going to put it in the frying pan.
She's not washed her hands, has she?
Right, as you can see, Can you see?
Unfortunately, yes, we can see
But-
Kay. The huge
Put
amount of
some
onion in
together,
there. Like, just huge
put onion in
pieces.
there,
God.
and put it.
The recipe called for
The
diced
pan.
onions, didn't it? And she just thinks that's...
So as you can see, I put more than one in. I'm going to take the first one out that I put in. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Transfer it to the
That meat
plate.
is not packed very well.
There we are. As you can see, it's now finished and done and cut up. So now for the taste test.
I don't want to be back.
Kind of a joke.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out where that noise was coming from. I thought something had started playing in the background somewhere.
Weirdly enough, tastes like a burger.
It tastes like a burger. Well, I put all the seasoning in it said to do it. So is that a thumb? Oh, that's not bad, a thumbs up. Right, as you saw, Lee said it was good. Well, he gave me a thumbs up. He didn't give me a 10 out of 10. But never mind, doesn't matter. A lot of people are getting confused as well. People who are selling T-shirts are not me.
Okay. She's going to do, like, merch talk stuff, so we're going to call that there on K. Whew. Speaking of which, about cooking. See if Dave got anything new while we were gone. The answer is, thank God, no. Should we do something fun or painful? What do you think? Because like I said, we can go a little longer, I think, and have some fun. How about... Let's see what Tate's up to. One of my personal favorite hateful assholes. Secrets to male value. Oh boy. Look. Oh no. I know what Happy Science is. I was in Zoe's channel when that was being talked about. Don't worry. I already know. And I'm not risking getting hit with a copyright strike just in case, you know what I mean? Let's see what toxic bullshit he's gonna spew this week, shall we?
You know what, Luke? When I was broke, I lost so much money. I lost so much money.
Oh my god, this audio.
Casinos never lose.
You couldn't wear a fucking lapel mic?
Owns casinos. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, never mind. I am not dealing with this audio. Fucking no. Ugh. You know what? We'll hit Spirit Science up. What do you
Hey, everyone.
think? The vaccine conversation nobody's having.
It feels like
Oh boy. This is gonna be bad.
there's a conversation about vaccines that's not currently being had, and I'm very curious as to why. Looking into the subject, there's really only two avenues about the vaccine. Get it or don't. On each side of the spectrum, there's usually only a few arguments for why one should or should not get it.
One side is correct and the other isn't.
Most of the others are just plays on the central feud dialogues. The intention of this video is not to suggest that you should or shouldn't get the vaccine.
So it's a waste of our
I believe
time.
This is a decision you have to make for yourself, and I'd like to invite you to flow with me here, no matter how you feel about the subject. Try and play with all of this information and notice your reactions. In this way, along with being receptive, you'll be able to make the best decision for yourself.
The best decision is to get the fucking vaccine. Do your best to social distance a bit still, you know what I mean? Wash your hands, wipe your ass. Not in that order, do the other way. Make sure you're wearing masks when you're out in big gatherings. Try to avoid big gatherings if you can, but at least if you're vaccinated, it's a little bit more reasonable. You're doing it to protect other people as well as yourself when you do these things. It's called being a responsible fucking person. The other thing where you don't do it is because you're a selfish, self-centered piece of shit. Do you want to be a piece of shit? Or someone that someone goes, hey, you seem like you're a cool person who actually cares about others. Your choice. I prefer to be the person that looks like they're a decent person. But that's just me, my wild and crazy views. Sexy Patchman Chapo, I have so much concerns for you. You and Robot.
And before we really dive into it, if you are seeking a safe haven to discuss stuff like this without being criticized, insulted, demeaned, or otherwise, please come and visit Spirit Mysteries.
Let's
now,
not.
on with the video.
Don't advertise your shit on my channel. True
Back
enough.
in December of 2020, even before the vaccines had
True
really
enough.
started to roll out, I went to Rhythmia Life Advancement Center for the first time in about a year, which had just reopened after being shut down from COVID. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Rhythmia, they're the world's first medically licensed ayahuasca healing center, and you can learn more about them by watching a documentary about visiting them using the link in the description. The first night of ceremony, interestingly, the spirit of the medicine found it necessary to educate me a bit more about the nature of this virus and its effects.
The spirit of the medicine, huh? The spirit of the medicine. Is it particularly the vaccine? Or is it like the medicine in a kind of generic everybody sense of the thing? I am lost. But sure, let's hear what this supposed entity had to tell you.
Effect on the world, as well as the subject of vaccines. Regarding the virus itself, it was very affirmative to what we had already discussed in our previous COVID spirit science videos, which you can also watch on our channel.
Which you really
She explained
shouldn't.
that just as there's a physical virus, what it's reflecting for us as a species is our fear, which is a potent and dangerous virus because of how much faster it spreads and how much it affects your thoughts, feelings, and actions directly. Now, presently, we don't have a way of actually tracking fear per person in mass, but if we think about it logically for a moment, we know that there are about 8 billion people in the world.
Oh God,
and
sorry
there
about the
are
flashing
208
lights.
million COVID cases reported at the time of this video being written. But considering the global impact of COVID, the lockdowns and masks and everything, it's probably fair to say that there's well over 208 million people who are afraid of COVID, or what's happening in the world to some degree. And even if you're not afraid of the virus itself, if you're afraid in some capacity about the vaccines or a global economic crisis, this still counts as fear that's related to or coming out of the pandemic.
Sorry. I had nothing to add here. It's just so dumb. It's so goddamn dumb. I just need a second for it to process. And I want to try not to get yelly. Okay.
To suggest fear is a virus that spreads much quicker than the physical virus isn't far off. And
It fucking is not comparable. Stop, Jordan, you fucking feckless asshat.
there is a science to back this up. Fear increases your stress levels, which in turn releases cortisol into your body. It's literally considered the fear or stress hormone. In small levels, cortisol is very useful to our bodies. It's actually part of our natural biological rhythm, increasing in the morning to wake us up from sleep and get us moving, and decreasing in the evening to help us wind down for the night. However, when fear ramps up, cortisol is released in much larger quantities, and this has a detrimental effect on our immune system. It can also lead to depression, mental illness, and lower life expectancy. The more you're feeling afraid, the more it creates a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's almost
throughout
like maybe if
society.
people were
While
vaccinated
this
and
is
doing
true
things correctly,
energetically,
we wouldn't have to
it's
worry
also
about
true
fearing
physically.
about things
As
as
an
much.
article on Psychology Today clearly states, the ripple effect of a fearful, isolated, and stressed out society increases cortisol levels across the board for Americans of all ages. If you have a lot of fear and thus cortisol in your body, your immune system will be far more susceptible to breaking down and not being able to protect yourself from the different illnesses that you could contract, including but not limited to COVID-19. What's especially interesting here is that if someone is afraid of the virus and chooses the vaccine, and they're next to someone who is afraid of the vaccine and warns about it, both people here are afraid, and both people are going to suffer the negative effects of too much cortisol in their bodies. Another very important thing here about the nature of fear is found in Frank Herbert's Dune when he writes, "Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration."
Really? We're quoting fucking Dune. We're quoting Dune when talking about fear when it comes to the vaccine and COVID and how the fear is the real problem. No, the fucking virus is the real problem, Jordan. It is the real problem. Okay? Let's move on.
You see, fear is something that limits our ability to create. It limits our ability to be free. When we're stuck in our fear, we limit our ability to see more possibilities. We're limited from feeling like we can do what we want in life. And we consciously or subconsciously cut ourselves short. In doing so, we cut off our own vital essence because fear grabs you by the root chakra and stops you from expanding into
Here,
the higher
fear grabs
centers.
you by the dick.
We explain this to a much greater degree in our chakra videos, which you can also watch on our channel. With all of that out of the way, what the spirit of the medicine at Rhythmia explained was that right now, there's a lot of fear on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, but only one of
Fear
them's
the
actually fucking
virus,
founded.
And fear of the vaccines, or Big Pharma's influence in the world, or various conspiracies around the whole thing.
The problem with people that fear the vaccine is a lot of them tend to be conspiracy theorists. They tend to be people that fear a bunch of stupid bullshit. No, the cockroach. God damn it. Thank you, Storm. But no, these people are afraid about the big global conspiracy that lied about the Earth being round, or the 5G towers are really what's passing on a bunch of these problems like COVID. It's 5G towers, or Area 51, the aliens are here. Didn't you know about the aliens invading and how they're working with these countries and the lizard people and a bunch of other stupid bullshit? They're always afraid of various stupid things. It's not just they're scared of the vaccines, is that they're most of the time horribly susceptible to bullshit. They are not critical thinkers. They are absolutely incapable of looking at something objectively and just going right into being fearful of something, especially if it goes against some weird interpretation of a religious worldview. That's where it gets the worst. So, the problem is still the non-vaccine crowd. The anti-vaxxers are the problem. Now look, you can be pro-vaccine and still have problems with the pharmaceutical industry. I'm one of those people. I have a big problem with the pharmaceutical industry and how it handles a lot of things like pricing medicines. That can certainly be fucking taken care of. I hate the way that they have put profits ahead of taking care of society. So don't get me wrong. Do not conflate me being pro-vaccine and me being pro-pharmaceutical companies. They're not mutually exclusive things. I can be very much against pharmaceutical companies while still being for good medicine. See? Not that hard. The people that are being fearful for dumb reasons rather than decent ones, is all I'm saying.
As far as vaccines go, this fear most often comes from a lack of trust in the medical institutions, as the companies who have rushed to produce the vaccines in the past year have had notorious histories of healthcare lawsuits.
Not that many. I think what the Johnson and Johnson one maybe. But no, there's not been a big issue. I'm sure people are putting forward bad lawsuits, sure, but as far as I know, they're not getting sued out the ass, all of them. Moderna, Pfizer, and all that.
If we take a look at some of the major vaccine companies right now, for example, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, we find some interesting things. Don't get me wrong, Pfizer is a powerful company. It got its start more than 150 years ago and has come a long way, evolving from a one-stop shop to a multinational corporation. It certainly had many triumphs. It discovered citric acid and mass produces penicillin and vitamin C, helping millions every year. But over the years, the company has also faced lawsuits, including where consumers claimed the drug maker sold defective drugs. Even the US government has charged the company with healthcare fraud. Pfizer set the record for the largest healthcare fraud settlement and the largest criminal fine of any kind with $2.3 billion
And what's this have to do with the vaccine?
in 2009 to resolve criminal and civil liability coming from the illegal promotion of certain pharmaceutical products.
Yep. Pharmaceutical corporations are bad. Congratulations, Jordan, for pointing out an obvious thing. Now let's talk about the vaccines themselves, which have, been tested and have research that is several years old at this point, good decade plus even, all things considered, with everything involved. So let's keep going. Yeah, products, not vaccines, correct.
Back in 2010, AstraZeneca too was forced to pay out $520 million to resolve allegations that they illegally marketed the antipsychotic drug Seroquel for uses not approved as safe and effective by the FDA. And let's be real, the pharma empire that is Johnson & Johnson is no stranger to hundreds of lawsuits over the years, having recalled numerous products and faced claims of their products being
And how many of those are
Those
vaccines,
lawsuits
Jordan?
pointed to internal documents showing J&J and its subsidiaries knew about the problems with their products but sold them anyways. In addition to individual product liability lawsuits though, certain states in the US also says that J&J helped fuel the opioid crisis and are suing the company for millions of dollars. As of February 2021, they're currently undergoing...
Centaur, thank you for the raid. Hello. Hello, Alyssa. How are you? Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone's having a good time. I'm Xandros. I'm a variety streamer. We just finished up Resident Evil about 20 minutes ago, actually. Right now we're just kind of hanging out and watching some videos. So this is kind of the hang out, chill, maybe talk about stuff that may be political, just saying, or stuff that might be a little painful, like bad cooking, stuff like that, but we'll also watch some fun stuff too. We're just kind of hanging out. Centaur, hope your stream went well. Boo politics, yeah, but, sometimes you really can't get away from politics. Right now, this is a channel called Spirit Science, and Spirit Science is talking about the vaccine conversation nobody is having about fear between vaxxers and, people that, trust vaccines and anti-vaxxers. So, just a fair warning if you're not a political person or wants to hear that kind of stuff or doesn't want to laugh at stupid, weird pseudoscience bullshit like this, probably not something you want to hang around for, and I completely understand that. But I do hope you'll come around again here soon if you're not going to stay for this. Drop a follow, because I'll be back here on Tuesday playing more Evil Within 2. So that'll be fun. And Centaur, how has Final Fantasy VI been going for you, by the way? How far are you now? I know you've been playing at least for a few weeks. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it's been fun. I still have not played it, and I need to. Ooh, nice. Always nice to go out and do the extra stuff. I blew up Nemesis. It was fun. So that was kind of our thing tonight. Might have been done a little sooner if I hadn't had to redo that last big Nemesis fight a couple times. Yeah. That fight in that pit is annoying. But, no, yeah, I'm glad you're having a good time with Final Fantasy VI. Are you going to be playing that again tomorrow, or are you going to be playing something else? The next time you stream, I guess I should say. By the way, everyone that's been watching, live or otherwise, be sure to go follow over at Centaur's channel. He's awesome, very chill, and plays some good shit. Danganronpa. That is gonna be fun. I actually have, I think, the first two games. That or just the first one. I can't remember. I have it for Steam. It's good stuff. I would have fun with your favorite bear. Because he gets rough later on. Fair warning, sounds like a train's coming by. But, yeah, no, definitely. Danganronpa is a fun game overall. Choo-choo. Big choo-choo coming. There it is. You should be able to hear it now. Alright. Let's get back into Jordan's weird conflation that pharmaceutical companies bad, which, yeah, corporate-wise, pharmaceutical companies... God, I can't talk. Pharmaceutical companies are bad. But it's inflating products with vaccines. Not the same thing. I'm gonna head out. Got a key lime pie. Ooh, key lime pie. Tasty. I hope you enjoy it. And thanks again for the raid, Centaur. I very much appreciate it. As for the rest of you that are going to be hanging out here still, buckle up. You might want to get a snack or something. It's going to be we still got 7 minutes of this video, roughly.
Lawsuits for everything from their hip replacement tech that supposedly caused metal poisoning to the drug Xarelto that caused heavy bleeding.
Congrats, these are still not vaccines,
so it's
Jordan.
No wonder people don't feel safe injecting themselves with a chemical soup when they don't even know what's inside it.
With a chemical... Jordan, they do know what's inside it. You can go find the ingredients. You can find the ingredients. They're online. They're online. You can find them. Google search.
With many expressing that the production process just felt rushed. But here's what's...
It wasn't. Here's what happened. Here's what happened for those that don't know. The reason the vaccine seemed to have come a lot faster than everything else is because they actually got proper funding and it got to go by a lot of the red tape that's usually put up that prevents that stuff from going through smoothly, because bureaucracy is the way of assholes in the world, especially when it comes to a lot of governments. They don't like to actually do things, they like to say things and pretend they're doing something while slowing everything down to make it completely annoying and worthless. But we actually all came together as a world, not just a country, as a world, and said, hey, we need to provide money, and we need to provide manpower, and we worked across international lines. These companies worked with different countries who were funding them, helping with the research, and that's why it got done faster. Because time and effort was put in properly. That's it. It's not rushed. It was just done right. Okay? It's just that simple. It's not some big conspiracy to rush things, and I hate this "it's been rushed" fear bullshit. It wasn't. It just wasn't hampered.
It's interesting. In ceremony, what Mother Ayahuasca explained was that...
He takes a lot of drugs and thinks he sees spirits sometimes. For those that don't know. This is the spirit of the medicine. So...
If you're so afraid for your life because you believe COVID will kill you, then it's actually better to get the vaccine. Because for that person, the vaccine will provide peace of heart and mind, reduce their cortisol levels, and thus they'll be able to be a more authentic creator and a clearer expression of their natural self.
Or they'll just get better protection against the virus that will kill you more than likely, or at the very least leave you with a lot of long-term health problems. The vaccine takes care of the death thing a lot easier, so you don't get the worst of it, and you're less likely to get the more severe problems long-term. It's not about, finding your zen and your inner spirit and all that bullshit and getting your wavelengths in order. It's about fucking protecting your body. Okay, Jordan? Really?
She also explained that if you're not afraid of the virus, and especially if you take really good care of your health, then you don't really need it, and there's...
Fuck you, Jordan. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I will just keep saying fuck you because fuck you. You do need a vaccine. It's one thing if you're immunocompromised and are unable to get the vaccine. If there is a health reason you cannot get the vaccine, don't get it. That's understandable. That's fine. But if you're not one of those people, you better be getting that vaccine. I've done it because I actually care about the people around me, my family, my friends, complete strangers. I have lost 3 people that I know personally to COVID. I've lost a cousin, I've lost a friend, I lost a former coworker. My sister and her boyfriend caught COVID. Do we really need to keep going through this? Really? Jordan, seriously? Fuck you. I ought to fucking report your ass. In fact, fuck it, I am. God, where is it? Is there really no way to fucking get this? Other dangerous acts, child abuse, promotes terrorism, spam, mislead. God damn it. What would I put this under? Better specify. And for anyone interested, if you feel you want to, here you go. Feel free to go ahead and report yourself. I'm not dealing with this bullshit. Wrong button.
To force yourself to get it. Now, this is the part that might stir up some controversy, because so many people have become bitter towards those who are in the opposite camp. From the mainstream thinking, what I'm telling you is irresponsible.
Yes, Jordan, yes it is. Very irresponsible. It's one thing if someone is concerned and is willing to actually listen to the evidence. I understand. People are afraid of things. Vaccines scare people sometimes. Whether it's needles, chemicals, whatever. I get it. Some people are just not informed. But the problem is those that are intentionally misleading people, they're vaccinated themselves and then lie to people to tell them not to get it because grifting is good money. So, the mainstream thinking is, hey, don't be an irresponsible asshole. Be a responsible person. Get the vaccine. Protect those that can't protect themselves. Protect those that are the most vulnerable in our society. It's that simple. It's called a social responsibility, and we all have it as a species to each other.
Because the narrative is that everyone needs the vaccine.
Yes.
Period. No questions asked.
Yes. Yes.
Despite the fact that with or without the vaccine, you can get COVID, pass it on to other people, and die.
Jordan, can you get COVID while vaccinated? Yes, you can still get it. Chances are lower than without it, but you can still get it. But it's a lot less likely. As far as being contagious, sure, it's possible. Not necessarily true that it is going to be, but it can be. As far as dying, that's a lot lower at the vaccine, and that's the important part. And you're also forgetting the fact that you have less of a chance to get the more serious complications from COVID, whether it be damage to the brain, erectile dysfunction, breathing issues, blood pressure issues, heart issues, take your pick. There's a lot of fucking problems that can come from COVID. There's a cavalcade of just horrible shit that can happen to you. That with the vaccine, you're less likely to get. It's not 100% guaranteed. No one says the vaccine's 100%. It is preventative. That's what it's for. It's there to prevent you from dying and to prevent you from getting the serious health problems. That's it. And to make it easier to not contract the virus and not to pass it on to others. It's not a panacea.
Though, it's worth mentioning that the purpose of the vaccine isn't to prevent you from getting COVID, but to stop severe symptoms to prevent the healthcare industry from getting overwhelmed and collapsing.
I mean, it's to prevent you from getting it too, because it does help. It does both those things. It helps prevent you from getting it, though it can still happen, and helps prevent you from getting the severe symptoms. Because yeah, it's helpful to not overwhelm our medical industry, our healthcare industry right now.
Further, those who consider themselves anti-vax may hate this message I'm sharing today too, because to some, anyone who gets the vaccine is now a part of Bill Gates' sleeper army, or something like that. I find that it's best to let everyone be empowered with their own decision and not try and force your beliefs on others.
No, I'm not even gonna. Just gonna let this through, because we're gonna be here all day if I don't.
Things flow as they do is going to be the way that we get through this.
No, it isn't.
And be open to receiving great wisdom from the experience. It may also be valuable to explore the perspective of the spiritually vaccinated. One of our staff members at
The spiritually vaccinated. I'm sorry. The spiritually vaccinated. Did you pray to the great syringe in the third dimension or something there, Jordan? Spiritual vaccinated. Okay. I'll bite, Jordan. Explain this.
Team Spirit has had both shots of the Pfizer vaccine, and speaking to it, he said, "Initially, I had some side effects like a normal flu, but my immune system flushed it out in about a day. Energetically speaking, it did feel like something was added into my field at first, but with basic energy work, I was easily able to isolate it and remove it with love and gentle movement."
Or your body just got rid of it and you just believe in some weird woo-woo bullshit and convince yourself that happened, but sure, why not?
"Now I feel totally back to normal and healthy as usual." And another member of our team had the J&J vaccine out of necessity in order to do some important traveling. And he said that it did feel as though after receiving the shot, there was an elevation into a new mental field, which may just be the collective consciousness of every vaccinated person. But in that way, he was able to relate better with people and continue to live. He also described that if there was any bad energies from the vaccine, his soul is still more powerful than any shot, and through energy work and perhaps support from plant medicine like ayahuasca, anything can be purged and healed, making him stronger than ever before.
What
You
is
see, there's a
wrong with these
principle that
people?
comes from the Tao Te Ching, which says that if you want something to go away, you have to let it become bigger, rather than fighting it and suppressing it. You have to let it expand, because in this way, it will naturally wear itself out.
Jordan, you're not about to say that we should let COVID continue to spread and then that'll make it easier to beat rather than trying to actually contain it and wipe it out.
This applies perfectly to both the virus, the vaccines, and the mass fear are like a giant
Jordan.
wave moving through us as a species. When you're getting crashed by
I
a
hate
big
you,
tidal
Jordan.
wave at an ocean beach, the worst thing you can do is fight it. And the best thing you can do is dive through it and let it pass by you. If you make fights with people who are in the opposite camp as you just create more stress and fear, along with anger and frustration. This is because it's something.
Then the people that are against actual, scientific consensus when it comes to things that are actually, proven to work, if they'd stop being dumbasses, maybe we could.
That has a lot of emotional and energetic charge. And by releasing the charge from your own field, you release your own stress about it, and life will just flow smoother. Vaccine or no vaccine, what benefit will come from forcing your decisions on others who might feel differently? What would it look like for you to live with the fullness of your own beliefs? I mean, seriously, would you rather be like Zuko at the beginning of Avatar or the end? In that, It's always best to take in as much information as you possibly can so that you can be properly informed and make the best possible decision. The biggest issue in the vax conversation seems
by
to
the
be
way,
that people
ad's
are
about to
either
start.
entirely on one side or the other. The solution then means really just taking the time to learn about the vaccines, the pros and the cons, what people are saying on both sides, and taking mental notes of patterns that you're observing. For example, the media will often portray a lot of people who got sick and then changed their minds about getting the vaccine. But more often than not, these people were already obese or in poor health.
I don't have the energy to yell at Jordan right now. The mental energy. But trying to blame stuff like overweight and health as like, oh no, that's why. How about the healthy people that have been fucking dying from it, Jordan? Goes against your little thing, doesn't it? No. The people that were dying and not getting the vaccine, part of it was because they were lied to. The other part was that they were obstinate dumbasses. Alright? Stop.
While there are certainly rising cases in younger, healthier people, the general trend is that COVID amplifies issues that you already have with your health.
Not strictly speaking, Jordan. It doesn't help. And those things definitely are a factor. But it's not the only thing.
And it's especially bad if you already have an older condition or are unhealthy. Personally, I haven't seen many examples of people who were already super healthy to begin with that the media made an example of. Then again, I've seen people who were anti-vax who had ridiculous levels of conspiracy ideas that were just a bit over the top and were not able to consider
only a bit.
more balanced approach or understanding.
Says the person that believes in like other dimension, like that Jewish people came from another dimension and like came into our reality. This is who, Jordan, you have no right to point to someone else to like, oh, they believe in some really off the wall shit. You believe in some really off the wall shit. I'm sorry, which one of us was having the weird Emma Watson experience? That you thought you knew her and understood her and had some kind of like weird relationship with her, spiritually speaking, Jordan? Which one of us was that? Certainly wasn't the one sitting here telling you to get the vaccine. It's people like you. And it was you specifically. And no, this is actually true for those that don't know. He really believes he had some kind of like supernatural spiritual relationship with Emma Watson. It's weird. There's a whole video on it. I'm not watching it because it's creepy. But just saying, you can look up yourself. It's on his Spirit Science channel. Just warning, it ain't pretty.
At the end of the day, this is a conversation about the different paradigms of human thought and human consciousness. It's about the different realities that we're choosing to live in, along with fear, and how we're choosing
There's
to
only
prepare
one
ourselves.
reality, Jordan.
To close this conversation, I want to share with you something that Jerry Powell, the founder of Rhythmia, posted on Instagram
Oh,
a while
boy.
back. Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Communication is hard. Not communicating is hard. Choose your hard.
Yes, a platitude.
Life
Great.
will never be easy. It will always be hard. But we can choose our hard. Pick wisely. To add some more weight to this, in Dune, after that line I shared earlier, Frank Herbert wrote this about fear. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path.
The inner
Where
eye.
the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. If we're choosing to live in fear, we fully limit ourselves from being divine creators at the highest degree.
Divine creator.
It
This
seems
is
then
this
as though
gets to be some like
fear creates
Mormon
a
level
split
shit
root chakra
sometimes.
energy in the collective, creating a polarization between what people think
Oh,
is
there's
safe.
that crotch rot again.
In doing so, everyone has a different idea of what safety is. This deepens our individual and collective root chakra wounds, increasing fear and challenging all of us to evolve our consciousness or conform in mass. At the end of the day, your life is in your hands. Treat it sacred and be blessed.
I fucking hate you, Jordan. I just hate you. I find you tedious. I find you morally bankrupt. And frankly, you're a great punching bag. And no one should ever take you seriously. And those that do, I feel sorry for. Because they could actually be better people and live better lives if they just ignored you. Just saying. Here we go. Let's watch this. Let's watch something a little more on the positive side. Vietnamese eggplant. So let's watch this and
This, everybody,
something good.
is Solanum macrocarpon. Probably saying that wrong. Also known as the firecracker eggplant, Vietnamese eggplant, African eggplant.
turn this down just a
and,
smidge.
Baby eggplant, white baby eggplant. Where I am right now in New Orleans, there is a huge
What's wrong, Jordan? I'm
Vietnamese
sure you're
community
stronger
here.
than the vaccine.
So if you
Had
go
to
to
yourself
this
and use your
part of the
spirit to
city,
negate any
it's,
negative effects. Yeah, I
the
know, right?
neighborhood is New
If only.
Orleans East, I believe. Every Saturday morning, a bunch of vendors gather in a parking lot over there, and they have like a very legit outdoor market. And what's interesting about the things that they were selling is a lot of it is not like resold. They're actually growing them. From what I've heard, a lot of the
I'm going to step away for just a second. I'm going to let this play. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get me something to eat. So enjoy the video while I'm gone, and I should be back here in a few minutes.
seeds actually came from Vietnam. So they came here in the 70s at the end of the Vietnam War. And when they came here, they actually brought seeds with them and grew them into the plants that they are now selling at the markets, or at least some people are selling at the markets. This one, I wasn't able to find a ton of information about it, but it seems like people who do eat it, they don't eat it raw. You know, some people do eat raw eggplant. For this one, I think it's probably best to prepare it in some sort of way. So I'm going to do that. But first, against my better judgment, I will take at least a teeny taste of this just to see what it tastes like. Some reports I saw online said that this one is not super bitter, which is unique because a lot of eggplants, especially little ones, are bitter. Ugh. Not bitter. It's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. Not a lot, but you know, like a 1 or a 2. No tartness to it. I'm not sure exactly how to describe this flavor though. I mean, if you've ever had Italian eggplant, like the big purple eggplant, and took a bite out of that, it tastes like that. If you've never done that, maybe a bit like green beans. What's nice about this that you don't get with the larger sorts of eggplants is that this is nice and crunchy. And normally how this is prepared in Vietnam is people pickle it. So when I was trying to find recipes on how to use this thing, I only saw pickled eggplant recipes. I am at an Airbnb right now. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to attempt to pickle it. At least a little bit. Can't do it for that long. Some people recommend pickling these for like a month. Some say just a few days. I'm gonna go for a few days and we'll see what it's like. Okay, so I don't have a ton of these, but I washed them and put them in this little pot here. And to prepare them, I'm going to cut off the tops here. It's probably not a great idea to be eating that. And just get all this green off of it, like so, and put it in this bowl. There's a few in here that just have like a little bit of an imperfection to it. I think it's probably okay if I just cut off the bad part. that. So I will save at least half of this one. Some recipes say to cut all of them in half. Other ones say to preserve the shape because it makes them crunchier. And I think since that is the nicest thing about this, is that they're crunchy, I want to keep them whole. They have been prepared, and what I'm going to do now is take these and put them into a pot of salt water and let them sit for 15 minutes. Why am I doing this? I don't know. It's what the recipe says to do. And while I wait for this to finish doing whatever it is doing, I am going to prepare a chili pepper here by just cutting it in half. This would also be a good time to work on the brine. And yes, I'm doing everything in pots. I've got my brine working here, I've got my eggplants soaking here, and everything else is going to be in a pot because I'm at an Airbnb and they don't have any bowls here, so we're making do with what we have. So in here I have 3 cups of water. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of salt and 1/2 tablespoon
Okay, not
of
bad.
sugar. Also, I'm going to cut this onion in half because my my Airbnb, believe it or not, does not have any jarring weights. So I'm going to use a slice of onion in order to like hold everything down once I put it in the jar.
Really?
Alright, so into my jar here, I'm going to place my eggplants. I will also throw in my chili. Mix that into there. Yeah, these guys want to float, so that's where this onion slice comes in.
Excuse me. Eggplant.
Okay,
And it was like a pepper and an onion?
It has been 5 days, and water's getting a little cloudy. I'm getting nervous. I don't pickle things usually. Afraid of getting botulism or whatever will happen to you if you eat a bad pickle. Oh.
Oh god.
This is carbonated now. I just opened it up and it fizzed. I mean, the pickle recipe I was using did call for sugar. It might be that this has just become a little bit alcoholic. This is redefining the name firecracker eggplant. I mean, it looks okay. It's not like gray or anything. It looks like it's edible.
Let's see. Oh, that crunch. Oh, dude, close your mouth a little bit more.
It's got a lot of little seeds in it. No, that was not attractive. It's alright. It tastes a bit like if you're to cross a eggplant with a pickle, a cucumber pickle. Well, I am still not a big fan of eggplants. This did not change that. However, I do see maybe what people like about this thing. If you pickle these, it does retain that texture, that nice crunchy texture that this does have, but it adds more
You
flavor
couldn't pay me to
it.
pickle things?
You know, it mellows out some of the harsh notes of the eggplant, but it brings in like a nice salty, pickly taste to it. I think what people do with this in Vietnam is that they eat this along with chunks of meat. And yeah, I can see this being used as kind of like a textural sort of thing. Like add this to something else that you're eating, and it adds like a little pop to it, a little crunch. Yeah. Well, everybody, I bought a jar of commercially available pickled
Probably a
eggplants
good
at the
idea than
Vietnamese
doing your own.
supermarket. This way, just in case the way I tried doing it didn't work properly, now we can really find out what these things taste like. Yeah. Now, the main thing that I liked about the ones that I made, like the one thing that I liked about the ones that I made, is that they were crunchy. So these things, I'm guessing, were pickled a long time ago. Does that mean that this is not going to be crunchy anymore?
I have no idea.
Find out
Nope. It's still crunchy.
Definitely crunchy. Well, I still don't like it, but it's better than mine. When I made it myself, it tasted kind of like if you were to take the raw eggplant and a pickle and mix them together. This still tastes like that, but leaning towards the pickle. What I am getting in this one is like a strong, savory taste. There was a bit of that in the one that I made, but in here, it's even stronger. There's an umami sort of flavor there. It tastes almost like there's a bit of soy sauce in here. And people do eat this with meat, as I said, which I think makes even more sense now that I'm getting some more of that like savory taste. There's something kind of meaty about it. Yeah, so it's not really my sort of thing, but even I can see the benefit of this and where I would actually be able to use this. And if you're the sort of person that likes eggplants and pickles, this is definitely one to check out. But the coolest thing about it is that, you know, I managed to find another relative of tomatoes, another Solanum
Well, good news. I don't like either.
here in New Orleans, and it was probably brought over from Vietnam. So it's yeah, it's cool to get a chance to try this. But yeah, I think that is about it. So I'll see y'all next time. Take care. I would like to give a very big shout out to AltPod and Smarter.
Well, that was definitely interesting. I know I missed some of it because I was getting food, but still, if that sounds like a food you might like, maybe you can find it and try it out yourself. Not really much in the way of Vietnamese markets and that around where I live. I've never seen these anywhere around me, so who knows? Could be fun. Let's see, what can we watch next? You know what? Let's let the wheel decide, shall we? Well, if that's the case... Oh, this was done 5 hours ago. Okay, whoa. We'll do a twofer, because these are, like, really short. The first one's, like, 2 minutes, the next one's, like, 3.5. So, first we'll do with Peter's, We're Mankind's Saviors. Let's see how much more, manic, he can get.
Welcome back, Patriots. It's Peter Hanna here, and I just wanted to remind everyone what is happening. We are making history. We are mankind's saviors. We're helping Trump save Earth. Trump is leading an army of digital soldiers and actual,
Oh yeah, Trump's digital soldiers, like the ones that were working with Mike Lindell. Boy, how! God damn it, Peter, sure. Digital warriors.
soldiers. I think eventually he's going to lead the military to save the world. This is historic. This is huge. This is the biggest battle in all of human history between good and evil, and we are winning. So it's good to keep in mind, and it's important to note that just because no matter what you might be thinking, like, oh, I'm not playing an important role. Like, if you were commenting, if you were talking, if you're donating, supporting Patriots, if you're sharing information, if you're going to try...
If you're giving me money, then you're by default a good person, and you're fighting the good fight, and you're helping the hero, the true hero and savior of mankind, Donald J. Trump.
Trump rallies, those are ways to support. There are many ways to support this movement. If you are stepping up and for freedom and you're making sacrifices to keep your freedom, you are a patriot. You are one of these saviors. You are one of these people that's helping save the world. And I just wanted that to be really ingrained in people's heads, because it's a big deal what we're doing. And for all the mocking that is made, people keep making fun of us, like, oh, they think wonderful things are happening for them and Trump's saving the world. He is.
He's not.
He is. And we have the best opportunity in the world to make a difference And that opportunity is right now. And
See, I thought it was back in like April, or was it May? Maybe it was August. I don't know which of the different times that you said things were going to be good and happening and positive and going your way, Peter. I've lost count because you changed your mind and moved the goalposts so many times. It's hard to keep track.
it's helping Trump save the world. So we are so blessed. We're so lucky. I got to go now, but God bless you all. Thank you for watching, and God bless America. Oops, forgot to press the record button. Let me try it again.
Peter, just learn to edit. Learn to edit. Oh, good. This one's got some fucking closed captioning. So this one is Huge Crashes Coming. Episode 39 of Diaries of a Trump Opium Addict. Sure. All right, Peter, tell us about these huge crashes coming. The only one I see coming as far as a crash is your crash back to fucking reality.
Welcome back, Patriots. It's Peter Hanna here. And I'm wondering if you guys have heard of this news story that's kind of going viral. Basically, there's a $62 trillion real estate market in China that is collapsing. Kind of like what happened in 2008 in the United States, but in 2008 it was 25 trillion. This is $62 trillion market that is basically collapsing. If you want to look into a Google Evergrande, but basically it seems like a big recession is about to hit China. So this brings up the question,
Okay.
how many crashes are going to occur before Trump comes in and has the power, or thinks it's a good time to move in and take action, you know?
Well, considering that's not going to happen at all, Peter, probably zero chances. It ain't happening, buddy.
There's three different types of crashes that I can expect. One is the government crashing under its own corruption. The
Which
other
it's
is
not.
the financial system collapsing under its own corruption. And thirdly, it's the mainstream media collapsing under its own.
The media's not going to collapse. The government's not going to collapse right now, anyway. At some point, probably in the future. Nothing lasts forever. And the economy? It could. If companies are starting to pay people better, maybe the economy will do better. But there are definitely be problems and growing pains, but it's because we're still stuck in a really bad capitalist system that could be a lot better if we actually implemented better programs and actually go more towards socialism, a bit more that direction. Things would be better. I mean, we've seen in other countries where it does go better. Cue the footage of the woman crying, "Donald Trump, save us," clip. Yes. Such a classic.
Corruption. Now, some people think all three have to crash before Trump swoops in and kind of rebuilds everything. Other people are saying it's actually common belief that they're trying to collapse the financial system so that when it collapses, and by they I mean like the cabal are trying to collapse it, so that when
The cabal. You want to add some parentheses around that one there, Peter? You know, just saying.
it collapses, they can have a new reset. They're called the Great Reset. That's supposedly going to make everything better, but it's actually an even worse form of slavery. So
Peter.
maybe the cabal and Trump want it to collapse,
Peter.
and then when the economy to collapse, and then when it does, Trump will offer a very good solution that's fair, and the cabal will offer a very corrupt solution, and people will choose Trump's solution.
What the fuck are you talking about? There's no cabal. Nothing Trump would ever offer is going to be any kind of fix to anything. He's a very dumb man. He's a very dumb and corrupt man, Peter. And you're just a very dumb man. But there's no cabal. The Great Reset isn't a thing. It's just conspiracy. Herbert, what are goalposts, right? I know.
I don't know, but it's very, very interesting that we are in a big transition period where the world is becoming a great place, but for that to happen, there has to be crashes of some sort, at least an economic crash, and likely a complete government collapse, and possibly, and also likely, the collapse of the mainstream media.
No,
under their own
those are not
motion,
likely,
because if
Peter.
they keep
At
on
all. They're
refusing to tell people the
not.
truth and just being propaganda, then actually people stop trusting them. I kind of see all these systems crashing right now. The government is
Peter,
kinda
this is like when you saw Trump coming back in April this year, and then in May you gave it like a 50% thing of it happening, and then you guaranteed it was going to happen in August. The big thing happening in August. Trump's going to be back before the end of 2021. Motherfucker, it's October. That specify the date. He says, yep. That would be funny. I think you should do that, Cold Start. Add those to Cold Bot. It would be very amusing. I like that idea. But no, Peter, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's October. There's only a couple months left in the year. Trump isn't coming back to office. Trump has no power in the government at this point. He has no control over any part of the military. He has nothing, sir. You lost. You lost. Now, could he be back in a few years? Yeah, technically, if he doesn't, die between now and the next election, and he runs again, it's possible he could win and resume, his time in office for a second term. I hope that doesn't happen, but, the way the Democrats are going, they're not helping their fucking cause and getting people to, bolster and get behind them because they can't do shit correctly and help anyone because they're just as corrupt and vapid as the Republican Party in the basic sense. The Republican Party is just getting way more fucking insane and conspiratorial and, fascist. So, But Peter, you're not getting your wish. Sorry, your delusions are not reality, and they won't become reality. Do yourself a favor. Stop making videos. Focus on taking care of your kids. You're bad at this.
crashing because they're overreaching with their power, and
I'm not saying I'm not great at it.
The financial system collapsing because of what's happened with Evergrande and the housing market in China. And I also see the mainstream media system collapsing under its own corruption because people are believing them less and less, and they're making less money from ads. Anyway, I don't know what the truth is on this.
You really don't. But
I want to hear what you guys
That
think.
was the first correct thing you've said this entire video. That you don't know. And that is the truth. You fucking don't.
Because I do respect you guys a lot and really appreciate your opinions. So let me know what you think. Is there going to be a big collapse before Trump comes back?
No.
Or is there going to be no collapses and he'll save the day and prevent any collapses? Or
No.
what's going to happen? What type of collapse do you expect in the next year? Financial, government, mainstream media? What do you expect to happen?
A MAGA
I want
collapse.
it in the comment section. This is a topic that
My
I've
brain
thought
is a
lot,
sieve.
and I don't have a conclusive belief. All I've noticed is that I'm noticing these systems collapsing, and I'm
You're not
wondering
noticing
if they're gonna
anything.
collapse under Biden, or if they're going to
You're
collapse
not.
under Trump.
You're not noticing shit, dude. Just stop. Stop. Just fucking stop. God. Alright. Wheel of Pain, what do you got for us today? Good or bad? Oh, something positive. Well then, if that's the case, I know what we can watch. Just in case you didn't see this one today, it's a nice short one.
This one's gonna be a spicy boy. YouTube comment suggestions. They just look like they're moldy. Woo! That's a spicy pea, alright. Oh, shoot. Good enough! You could give me 1,000 chances and I still would never have guessed that wasabi peas would clog the grinder. Will it blow? That's a 5-mark Ruffalo for sure.
I love that.
Like Shawshank.
It just goes everywhere.
Oh, we got it. Oh, no. We still got a big hunk of it right here. There's no reason to disqualify this one because it's getting a 0 out of 5. Bop, 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 bop.
I love that shit. But that's not the only thing we're watching. For this nice little bit of positivity, there's another one I need to find here real quick. I think some of us might enjoy, especially if part of the more Dungeons and Dragons related crowd. Where is it? Ah, here we are.
Today
We're gonna watch some fake ice inside dice, some lemonade dice. So let's enjoy.
going to be making lemonade dice, or really that's just an excuse to try out this idea I had to put ice inside of dice, or fake ice. I saw an insider video where they made quiet ice using clear silicone, and I thought maybe I could try and do that inside of dice and make it look like ice. Ribomom sent me these cute little foam fruits, and one looks like a lemon, so let's make some lemonade with these lemons. Who has 2 thumbs up and has his PPE on? This guy, because it's time to work with resin pretty much immediately. We're going to be using cap molds for these dice because we're going to put things on top of them, and it will be 1,000 times easier than if we were using sprue molds. You could still do it with sprue molds, but I highly recommend you use cap molds if you have them. We're essentially going to be doing a colored layer pour using resin, and so I'm going to use Envirotex light resin. It cures relatively quickly, so I don't have to wait forever on this project to be completed, and it's a 1-to-1 by volume mixture. I'm going to mix it up until there are no more streaks in my resin, and I'm just filled with a ton of bubbles in my cup. There's actually some benefits to that. If you want to have like a sparkling lemonade look, you could definitely keep some bubbles in there, but I want mine to be clear and look like there's nothing in the mold at all. So we can fix that with a pressure pot in a minute, but I'm going to fill up my molds about 1/4 of the way with resin. So that's a different amount depending on which mold. For example, the D4 just takes a few drops, where the D20 takes a whole swig of this resin stuff, and then you can just leave it setting out if you do want some bubbles, though that may cause some balance issues. You can always pop some surface bubbles with the lighter, but again, I'm going to use a pressure pot because I want mine to be completely transparent, as if there is nothing there on one part of the dice at all. I leave them in the pressure pot at around 40 psi for 24 hours. That's enough for it to be really hard and really solidified to where we have a nice flat surface to put both our lemons and some ice on top of. I left out a bit of resin in the cup, not in the pressure pot, so you can see there are some bubbles in it, but there's too many floating around and not at the surface for my liking. But we can also use this so I can show you what I'm going to do on each of the dice a little bit more clearly. So I'm going to pour out some of these little foam pieces of fruit. They're nice little slices, and there's lots of lemons.
They should be some really nice looking dice, I think.
Them out, so I recommend having some tweezers if you do find this product. I thought about making strawberry lemonade because that's my favorite if I can't have blueberry lemonade, but I'm just going to stick to regular lemonade this time.
That sounds like something I'd like to try.
To put some of this foam fruit stuff down onto the resin, a tiny drop, essentially non-existent. We want it just
barely
to
an inconvenience.
hold this piece onto the resin. The actual resin itself that we're going to pour on top will keep this thing held in place, so we don't actually need all that much super glue, just enough to hold it down, which leads us over to the silicone. I'm going to cut out a bit with my X-Acto knife. We don't need a whole lot. I actually found out that I could salvage this old mold that I made with really, really clear silicone on and still use it. So I'm just going to cut off little pieces until I get something that looks somewhat like a square or a piece of ice. I probably could have gone larger with these, but I was really testing this technique to see if it worked at all, because Christmas is coming up and I thought it'd be really cool to have an entire ice set of dice, and this was my test for that. The purpose of putting the glue on the silicone and the foam pieces is just to make sure that they don't float up when we put resin on top of them. Both of these have a tendency to do that, and so we need something to hold it down. So now we can do it onto the dice mold, since we have a bunch of lemons and a bunch of pieces of quote-unquote ice ready to go. Now you might be saying glue doesn't stick to silicone, and you are totally right. I let the glue dry long enough just to get somewhat of a hold on the silicone. All it has to do is overcome its natural buoyancy and desire to float up on top of the resin that we're going to put in, and that's all I need it to do. Once the resin completely solidifies, there's nothing moving out of place, and so I think we're going to be good to go. I've tried
it's
other
actually
glues,
a
and they just
pretty
don't
smart
seem
solution,
to
I
hold
think.
it long enough or well enough. So I am going to use super glue, even though that can leave a bit of a white film on the resin, so it's best not to leave this too long. And you can see the silicone sticks enough to the glue. Not very well. I'm going to zoom in so you can see if I push on it even even a little bit hard, it does come up off of the glue, so you can't be too rough with this stuff. But it's held in place, and so I think we can move on to the next step and mix up another batch of resin. We're going to need a lot more resin this time around because we're filling up 3/4 of the mold instead of just 1/4 of it, and it's always good to have excess for cap molds. After I mix this stuff up, lemonade looks yellow, so I got me some Bob Ross cadmium yellow alcohol ink. And we're also going to put a little bit of the DIY liquid glitter gold that we made in a previous video. I think it'll make it look like there's a little bit of sugar inside of the resin that just hasn't dissolved yet. And I like sugar in my lemonade, so that's what we're going to go with. Also, gold.
We'll mix lemonade without any kind of sugar in it, like even if it's just a little bit.
Anything more than that and it will look too dark. Lemonade's typically a very, very light yellow. I even pop some of the surface bubbles on this stuff before I pour it into the molds, and it's never a bad idea to have wax paper down because this stuff is always messy whenever we do cap molds. You can see this is a very, very light yellow as we pour it over the top of our lemons and silicone fake ice, but none of them are moving up to the surface, at least immediately, so I'm pretty hopeful before I close these molds off. I made just the right amount of resin to pour over each of the bottom half of the molds and to have a little bit left over to pour onto the caps. I go over with a lighter to pop any surface bubbles to make sure we're not going to have any gaps or voids in our molds, you know, the typical stuff, and I shimmy on the lids onto their keys and registration marks. That way they lock into place inside of the silicone molds. After another trip into the pressure pot, bada bing, bada boom, look at those dice. They are so lemony and so good looking.
Oh, I like that.
You can see the silicone really does make ice shapes inside of there. The only downside to these is, and I didn't think that I could do this, I could have put a lot more silicone or a lot bigger silicone in there and it would have looked even better. I was worried about balance throwing it off, so I would say this is the balanced version of some lemonade dice, but if you want it to look even more icy,
that's actually really cool.
you could definitely
I like
put
that.
more silicone in there. But after taking these out of the molds, they do need some sanding. Some of them have some rough edges, especially the D20. I'm going to have to start making some new molds soon, and so I'm going to place out a flat plane of glass to do my sanding on and cut out a little square of Zona papers. It's just really, really high grit sanding paper as far as you should be concerned, and we're going to get a glass-like shine out of it. I go through all grits except for the green one. That's just too rough. I don't really need it until I have a glass-like shine on all of these.
Damn.
Whoops, drop that one. A glass-like shine on all of these dice. Now I need to ink them or color in the numbers, and you've always suggested Vallejo colors in the comments, so I got me some. I got some Sun Yellow and Dead White. I ended up doing a 1 part yellow to 2 parts white to get it light enough to look like lemonade. That Sun Yellow is just almost orange more than it is yellow. Looks good, but wasn't what I was going for, and I really, really like how this light yellow turned out on these dice. I'm doing my typical inking style where I just flood it with paint and then wipe away the excess with my finger. Don't worry if there's even more excess, we can wipe it away with alcohol later, but that color combo looks perfect for the lemony lemonade. And honestly, this skill of putting all of this fake ice inside of dice is a skill that I'm glad that I can share with all of you.
Thank you so much for auditioning last time. You were amazing, and it's so great to have you as the new Skillshare person. Why don't you go ahead and read the script and just say the line? No, Skillshare man, stop right there.
Skillshare man.
I'm the one and only Skillshare guy. Nobody else can do what I do. We already have somebody who's amazing. They auditioned so well. No, they're nothing. They're not like me. They can't say, did somebody say Skillshare like I can? I care about this job. You were fired for being late. You look horrible. So do you. If I look bad, you look bad. What does that mean?
Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and if you haven't heard of them, they're an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators like you and
Let's
I.
skip ahead a
For your
little bit.
membership, why don't I go ahead and they look really good, but they could use a little scrubbing with a paper towel and some alcohol to look really, really crystal clear, and man, do they. These are some really, really awesome lemonade dice. I was not expecting to like them as much as I do. That ice technique really, really works. If I could find some other glue that would hold the silicone down without leaving any sort of white residue like super glue does, I would love to use it. I tried E6000 glue, which I know stays clear inside of resin, but it doesn't hold the silicone enough down when I pour the resin on top of it, and the silicone just floats up to the surface, which is not good, so I have to use super glue for now, but if you have an idea, let me know in the comments down below, because that could make this even better. The only other thing I would have done to change these if I could was maybe pour the yellow lemonade part of the resin first. You can see here on the D6, whenever I'm rotating this around, the corners of the D6 actually have that white or clear resin creep up the sides. That's just due to surface tension, I guess, and if it was with the yellow part, that would look more realistic, but having the yellow part be kind of curved downwards is contrary to how gravity and liquids work and surface tension, so it does look a bit off. I'm probably the only one who would notice it on my own dice, so it's not really anything I need to fix, but if I can fix it, why not try that? But we of course have to see how these dice sound, and it's lemonade. It's got to go in a glass. By the way, go check out Rocky's Hot Chicken if you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina. Good stuff.
That's a lovely sound, isn't it? Oh.
I was stoked for the
That was
nat 20
crisp.
because yay, good dice, but what I was really psyched for
Yeah.
was 2 nat 20s in a row, baby. That might be the first double nat 20 on the channel. Now those are some dice that look as good as they sound, and it's hard not to eat them because they do just, look like lemonade, but, don't eat dice because they are made out of resin and that will kill you. So don't do that, but you can still admire and make your own resin dice like this with some ice inside of them. This is a cool technique. I'm glad I tried it out, and I'm glad that it works so well, so we're definitely going to do some ice stuff for Christmas, maybe some Jack Frost themed, or if there's a D&D monster you think should be ice themed for some dice, let me know that in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you might want to see some more videos like this in the future. Like the video if you like it, dislike.
Seriously, that is good. Now, here's a crazy idea. Dice-shaped rock candy. Could you imagine that? Just find a way to make rock candy in the shape of different, like, D&D style dice. Sell like hotcakes. Guaranteed. Oh, man. Ooh, this will be fun. How about we watch some Rachel and June? This is by the way, this is a good channel. I highly recommend it. I mean, I don't particularly know how they make rock candy. I have never actually looked into that. I'm just saying. But you're not wrong in the very basic idea. Like, you could, like, chew them up, or you can, like, suck on them a little bit. Almost like, not really like jawbreakers, but kind of just like normal suckers. But, yeah, Anyway, so Rachel and June, really, really fun channel. If you've not had a chance to go to watch their stuff before. They do a bunch of various stuff, stuff involving their cats, day-to-day stuff in Japan. I definitely recommend it. This one I haven't watched myself yet. This is a Japanese thrift store video, so this is definitely going to be interesting. But if you ever get the chance to go and subscribe to their channel, you won't be disappointed. But let's see what they're going to be finding today.
Thrift store?
Yeah.
In fact, I think after this we'll see if June's got a new video on his cooking channel. Yeah, let's do that.
Fridge, laundry machine.
Each thrift store has different stuff, but this one has appliances.
By the way, Rachel's from Ohio too, so supporting a fellow Ohioan.
It's a cat house?
Well, husband's got good taste, and you make sure you tell him I said that.
I don't think our cats need their own warm house. Is this a tiny Roomba?
Dyson. これ Dyson のルンバ Panasonic one is triangle. $70.
We could use this as a bench in our Genkan.
It is cute. Center table.
And these pendant lights work for your toilet. This is from Loya.
Oh.
I recognize this pattern. It's
Same as our entertainment system.
Look at the thing with a lot of Japanese desks is they're so low. Like, look how low you would have to be sitting to get your legs under here. What kind of chair is like all the way down here?
You'd have to be a short person, which I am not that short.
So soft. This is a grandpa chair.
Oh, that looks good.
Is it?
Okay, look.
I like it.
Look. I have no shame in admitting this. If I had a chair like that, every night, I would take a nice, comfortable sit in that. I would nap in it. I have no shame on that. I want something comfortable for my fat ass to sit in and relax. Put in a good movie, and boom, I'm good.
It is comfy, right?
It's very comfy.
I like it too. How much is it? Original price?
$500.
Oh, half off.
Half off.
Electric chair?
Yeah.
Reclining? That's why it's so expensive?
Not as comfy as that one.
Really? Yeah. It's comfy, but that one's more comfortable.
Hell yeah, it is.
Oh.
Do you want there to not be a pole in this corner?
Yeah.
So it's easy to...
Yeah. I also feel like I'm working on our entertainment system. Feels a little strange.
Oh.
New store. Sewing machine?
Look how fancy it is.
It says it doesn't work. It's an
Aw.
antique sewing machine. Bluebird.
This is super cute. Look at all the sakura petals.
See, I like thrift store shopping whenever I have the chance to do it because it's just, you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, but for like a fancy
Now, that's not
plate,
saying that there's
I
really
like
good thrift
it,
store
but
stuff around where I
June
live,
kind of ruined plates
but
for me
you can find
when
some good
he
ones sometimes.
introduced me to the concept
And other
of,
areas
like,
are better than,
imagining what
some.
food would taste good on
But
that
Japanese
plate,
thrift stores are
and now
so
I
fucking
can't
interesting. I watched a few
imagine,
different
like, what do
videos
you eat
before
on a plate like this other than
talking about
dessert?
them and going
I
through
don't
them.
eat dessert at home, like hardly ever. So, what do I put on this and eat? Pasta? That feels wrong. Meat? Fish?
Ooh.
I don't know, it all feels wrong.
Sashimi.
This set is cute too, a little dessert set. But once again, I really don't eat that much dessert at home. I also like this. It's like a cast iron base for something hot.
I like Edo Kiriko. There is a special grinder to do this design. Curve the design.
Kind of looks old-fashioned to me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Classic.
My mom used to have like strawberry design stuff in the kitchen when I was growing up. Decorations and curtains, little tiny strawberries like this. And I really, really love them. I want to get strawberry stuff again someday.
Maybe your mom can send you something.
We got fucking $30 for 3 guitar. Oh, nice.
It's a little expensive for strawberry.
A little?
Yeah, seriously.
For strawberry.
Highly recommended this. Go to thrift shops. Mom and pop ones tend to be the better options, but you know, Goodwill exists and stuff. And look around for stuff like that. Gaming stuff is tends to be good, whether it be like console or older PC stuff. Also look for like toys and board games. But you can find some really cool like furniture stuff too. You know, just like movies, especially you can find some old stuff that you don't see very often. That's out of print. But yeah, go. I highly recommend it. Just make sure you are very careful what you pick up and know what you're looking for.
Dude, look. Isn't this really cool? It's like super old-fashioned style. I like it a lot. Oh, it's so heavy. We could put it outside and grow flowers out of it, and it'll look like part of our garden is like the ruins of a ancient civilization. Wouldn't that be cool? All of these are really
I like her
delicate
thought
and
process, to be
like
fair.
30 pounds.
Probably you're the first person who got attracted to this vase.
Really? Oh my god, it's so heavy. What is this made out of? Is this not cool? It's green. It's actually green. I didn't know that.
It is cool.
Can you read this so I can look it up? Ganbatte. What is it?
Ooh.
But our garden isn't even ready at all,
I
so
know, but there's no way we could know if it would still be here.
I'm pretty sure this will still be here
Why?
next year.
If I like it, surely some other people like it too.
Fridge,
Appliance
oven.
section.
There's some logic there.
It's a cute toaster. Is it pink? Can't open
Oh,
it.
it's Bruno. What is that?
What
Healthy,
It's a deep
delicious
fryer.
food made easy.
What's going on?
It's an interesting grill.
Oh, is it a grill?
How do you clean it though?
I mean,
Oh
they got
god.
good photos. Oh look, they made a pita pocket.
Pita
Pita 반장.
I need to check results and see if people think I should get the vase or not. So far, yes. Could be cursed. I think it's actually old.
Grandpa fucked up the toaster again.
Pretty sure it's modern. This is like one of the most common styles of unit kitchen.
Ooh,
They're all the same height.
that looks nice and clean. I like
I mean-
that.
It is nice and cheap and reasonable.
This is the first one I've seen that actually kind of has a fake wooden design that makes it look slightly nice, but ooh, ooh, ooh. Is this like popular in other countries? The style of dining room table, where now they sell like these corner seats. I know, I like it too. What the hell, dude? It's furry.
Oh god.
Furry. Dude, I would be afraid
No.
it would catch on fire.
Yeah. I will be too.
Hey, how about this for your bathroom?
No, thank
That's
you.
a cool shape.
No, thank you.
You don't like it? I only posted it 12 minutes ago, but it's overwhelmingly yes for.
See, I think the pod would be a good
And I
idea too,
really like it.
personally.
I want it. It's just cool, June.
Looking for treasures.
I want the giant iron vase.
Most unexpected product for them to sell.
It's metal. It's so cool.
Okay.
I actually agree. I think it looks nice.
Put it on a tampon.
I think if you cleaned it up, it could be really nice,
No,
especially
I
when you
just
get back to its
didn't
old color.
expect this. That's all.
To go home with a really heavy metal vase. Isn't it freaking cool? I love
How much is that?
$20.
Okay.
It's a little expensive, but I really don't buy stuff that often.
You know,
anymore,
for
like,
20?
hardly ever.
That's actually not bad.
情報がわかるものってあったりしますか？なんかレシスキャンした時なんか出たりしますか？
レシートは出るんですけど、多分壺としか。
I have no idea what's being said right now.
あ、わかりました。It's a pot.
Yes.
That's all the information they can give us.
Cool. Pot.
A pot. Unexpected purchase, but I'm happy for you.
Hello, baby.
Ah, Peachy.
Pokey. I can pet Peachy.
Good girl. Such a good girl.
I'm glad to see Peachy's doing well.
Oh. Anyway, we've got snack time.
Time for Boksu.
With Boksu. Thank you so much to Boksu for sponsoring us.
Thank you so much.
And
God damn it.
cat.
In our cat house.
Pokey's running away and Peachy's following as usual. Yes, this has been really helpful for us building our.
I remember
house,
when they first
and
found
it's
Peachy,
introduced us to a ton of
You
different
know, and
snacks
everything going
we
on with
didn't
that.
even
So
know we
I've
had.
really been happy to see that she's been doing so well.
What's the theme for this month?
Ta-da!
Kansai Autumn.
Some Kansai.
So the Kansai region of Japan is around here. In this box, they have snacks from Osaka, Kyoto, and Nara, and then also Kanagawa and
Yes,
Ibaraki as
Osaka
well,
and Kyoto.
although those aren't
Definitely
Kansai.
areas I
Every
want to go
month,
to.
The theme changes, and they have new snacks in each box. It's really exciting to always get like new stuff to try.
Yeah.
Boksu sometimes works with individual snack makers, like in the case of this one.
Look, if
Kuja
I had the
Scallion
funds,
Arare.
I would
It
subscribe
says
to
it's an
Boksu.
exclusive
I would
collaboration
love
with Takinaka
to
Seika.
experience,
So this
that
snack
stuff. I
is
used to do
only
stuff like that
available in
over on
Boksu.
YouTube.
Nice.
Do you want to try some?
It's very Japanese.
And
like it.
I would definitely
And
love to
which
try
one?
these.
I want
Now, if any of my friends want to gift one to me,
Tastes like a very Japanese flavor.
I could do it on stream. Now, I wouldn't really show my
think this
face,
is
but I can at least
how
show
you
like my hands and show the items. But you know,
There's a
maybe
kanji
one day.
for
Maybe
Chichiku.
one day.
Yeah. No flour fruit.
A brand new video or
Yeah.
something.
So I assume they have fig snacks with fruit. Ooh.
Bring back my
My brain
really
immediately went to
stupidly
lemon.
named
I love lemon.
God, what was it
Stop it.
called?
Doop.
Oh God, I can't remember the name of the fucking
This
like
is my
show I used to have
favorite
on YouTube
version of
on the channel.
This type of snack
The pie.
that I've ever had. Yeah.
My brain is lost. I'll have to look it up real quick. I'll do it on
Oh, here it is.
a different
This is another
tab thing
Boksu
here. Hang on.
exclusive.
Yep. Never tried or even heard of fig.
Import Express.
This
That's what it was.
says
I didn't even have to
fig
get there.
candies are rare in
Import
Japan,
Express is
so-
what I used to call stuff like that when I would try
Never even
foods
heard
from
That checks out.
other
I wanna try
countries.
one. They look really cute. They look like tiny little candied apples. It's a rather gentle flavor. It's not overwhelming at all.
See, I'm not big on apple, but I like a good like
I actually like
gentle
the
apple
one
flavor like that. Like
kind
not
of
like a sour
this
apple, but like a
got my
normal
attention.
kind of like red apple.
And I like the packaging. It has deer and daibutsu from Nara.
So cute.
Right there too.
Aw.
Let's try. Looking good.
Beautiful.
Oh,
That's like a super traditional
Matcha?
Japanese design.
Itadakimasu. Cheers.
It's a little crispier than a lot of these like types of snacks that we've had
Yeah.
in these boxes, but it's really good.
Very crunchy.
Ooh.
The matcha is a little bit bitter. I feel like this would go really well with
Tea or coffee?
tea or coffee.
Two things I
feel
don't
like
drink.
The flavors in this box are a lot more traditional Japanese flavors than
Yeah.
they usually are in Boksu. Kansai and Kyoto specifically are kind of considered one of the like traditional hearts of Japan. So like when this says Kansai Autumn, it really does have this unifying theme to me of traditional Japanese flavors.
Yep.
If you're interested in trying Boksu, you can use our code and link in the description box to get
No, you can't get
Oh,
Poki,
Poki.
but you can get 10% off your own authentic Japanese snack box subscription from Boxu. Thank you so much, Boxu.
You should go
We'll
use
get
that
back to
code
our
and get
regular
yourself
video.
some. Help them out. They deserve it.
It's a giant model.
Jesus
ship.
Christ.
Huge.
Could you imagine the time it was taking to do that?
So cool. Look how many
I
cannons
could
are.
not
Is
focus
that how
enough
many
to do
cannons
that.
were on these ships in real life? HMS Victory. I gotta look it up. Man, I'm having a great day. We're finding like a lot of really cool stuff. What's this? Is it an umbrella holder? Do you want a giant
Fork?
traditional fork and spoon? Or like a wooden katana?
It's a training
This is
sword.
cool. We're not allowed to have real swords in Japan unless it's like registered.
Bokuto. Yeah.
But we could have a wooden one.
When school kids go to Kyoto on school trip, some of the boys go get one of these wooden swords.
I mean, I want a wooden sword. Display above
Fun
the
fact,
front entrance.
I do own
Smart
katana.
woman's hips.
Yes, I was that kid. I was that guy.
What does it mean?
And it was a
I like this table.
trio of Kill Bill swords, so
To like have like ikebana.
they're packed away now. I don't have them out because, well,
We don't have tatami.
I've grown up, but
Yeah, I know.
we don't need it.
We'll figure it
I
out.
know. Again, I was like 18, 19. I was young. It's not like I bought them like a couple years ago. It's been
$3.
well over
And look at the
a
gold
decade
thing.
plus.
What would you use it for? Pork?
Savory meal?
Like what would
Like-
look appetizing on this?
I don't
You
like
look up,
that.
Like a classic Japanese meal recipe. I think you can get
Uh,
ideas easily.
Sashimi? Do you want to open up some boxes
Don't
and
like
see
that
what's inside them?
Sure.
Oh, that was really boring.
Just like, oh, it's just
Eh, let's look at
it
the
is
bone
kind of
china.
boring. Ooh.
Meh. Meh. That,
I'm a
I
sucker
think,
for a
is
nice
pretty cool.
blue.
That design over there.
$8.
This is kind of pretty. Although, again, we don't drink. This is super colorful. Whoa! It's like a rainbow. Look how old this looks. Wouldn't this be cute with like one of those
Cabbage?
little bonsai that grows out of a moss ball?
Yeah, they use it.
Are these?
Yeah.
How cool is this?
My grandparents used to have one of these.
Yes, and I love it. Look at the joints for the side of this. It looks really nice.
It looks really well put together. I will say that.
I know they're hard to use, but it's.
I mean, a little.
Sugoi. Look how it's made. The joints are.
Look at that. It would need some mild fixing, obviously, because it's older.
I mean, we really
Still.
don't need this, and that drawer doesn't even go in all the way. But this for $60. Look at this. It also has a key. This was
I think
$1,000
Rachel's the thing with
though.
keys.
This was originally $1,500,
I think so.
and they're selling it for $160.
No thanks. Yeah, it's about my opinion, just going.
This is crazy looking.
What is it?
A shelf? Antique.
How do you?
Oh. No.
Interesting.
This is very interesting.
No thanks.
It's like black and gold and glass. It's $1,300. But like, look at it. This is already sold, but like, it's pretty. Look at this.
Eh, it looks really plain to me.
I'm
Like
not
I don't
gonna
like
touch
full
this one.
white.
I've already bought it, obviously, but that's so neat. And we're on our way home.
Yeah, it was really fun actually.
Yes. And
I am excited to see
got
what this
Our
is.
cool vase of unknown
When I opened the
origin.
trunk earlier, this is the first thing I saw.
The vase of
It's like
mystery.
painted green a little bit, and there's a mark on the bottom. I have no idea where this is from. I don't know how we're gonna figure it out either.
This was very unexpected, but I'm really happy for you.
So we managed to figure out where our vase comes from. Thanks to amazing archaeologist Lee on Instagram. She was able to find a couple different vases that have the same mark on the back. And through that, I was able to discover the original company, which is called Hoshu. In the beginning, we didn't even know if this was Japanese or not because the maker's mark here is very, very stylized. It's not easy to read as kanji.
Yeah, I can only guess the bottom second one. That's shu is the only kanji that came up to my mind when I look at it. But the top kanji, No, there's no way.
So it ended up
Kanji's
being
hard anyway, to be fair.
Hoshu, which is a province in China, or like an ancient prefecture. I don't know how to pronounce this. It was Fengzhou? It's actually not a Chinese vase, it is Japanese, and so the proper reading is the Japanese way, Hoshu, which is the name of the brand. A Japanese brand that, by the way, only entered the internet sphere last May, so they've only been online for like 5 months, and there is next to no information about them on the internet aside from their social media and lots of auction listings, which didn't give us any information about the company
Really?
itself. So like, it's really lucky that we found this now. I was able to find their email. I sent them photos and I was like, hey, this looks like one of your vases. Do you know anything about it that you could tell us? And they very, very politely responded with some information about it. So this vase was made by a brand called Hoshu, which is a Takaoka copperware company that was founded in 1917.
Ooh.
Takaoka is a city in Toyama Prefecture. Takaoka copperware is like a type of traditional, I would say Japanese craft, although it was borrowed from China originally. So it's like the Japanese version of an ancient Chinese craft.
Interesting.
Where they use copper alloy to make various types of products. This company, Hoshu, makes lots of flower vases, but like the Takaoka copperware in general, they can even do like giant Buddhas and statues and things like that. This product, the product number is S50. They were able to tell us that, and the name of it is Junhao. How would you read
How
that
say
again?
do?
Shuhotsubo?
Shuhotsubo.
I mean, I'm only guessing.
It is a copper alloy. They don't know what year it would have been made, but because it was made with a mold, they can guess that it was made on or after 1953. So it is a modern vase, like I suspected, but also it is a part of like a traditional Japanese craft. I'm really excited that we were actually able to figure out where this vase is from.
That's actually
and
really
able to
interesting.
treasure it more knowing how it was made. Thank you so much to Yuki-san from Hoshu for giving us some information and confirming that this is indeed one of their vases. And then thank you so much to archaeologist Lee. Without her help, I never would have been able to figure out what the mark on the bottom meant.
So, conclusion, this vase is not cursed. It's actually blessed with Japanese craftsmen.
That's a really nice thing to say.
Yeah.
It probably isn't cursed. We did get it from a thrift store, who knows?
Yeah, cursed, sure.
You got the treasure.
But yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I'm
But I do
thinking
like that.
about putting this inside, in or around our Genkan somewhere. I'm not sure yet. We don't even have our house, so we'll figure out where it works best.
All right, let's check out June's kitchen, see what we got, if anything. Oh, it's been a couple months, but do you guys want to watch one of June's videos? June's not been doing a lot of uploading on it lately, so. Why not? Let's do the Jiggly Moose Cake. It's a Japanese green tea one. Calm cooking with cats. You could probably say no with the word no, but why would you say no is a different thing. God, that's a nice view. Now listen here, you father making dad jokes. Hey, it's my job to do that. By the way, just a warning. You're about a minute out from the next ad break. So, there's your warning.
ありがとうございます。
By the way, if that gets annoying me letting you know when the ads are coming, let me know and I'll stop doing it. Just know that about every half hour they kick in for about a minute and a half.
Ah, ありがとうございます。
Don't give me that look.
ありがとうございます。
You have a sub. You're fine. People with subs are free from ads. At least they should be, unless Twitch is fucking up. You shouldn't be having to see it.
Hey guys, so when I was in college, one of my exchange student friends introduced me to this dessert. It's very cheap, easy to make, delicious, and you can make large portions, which met the conditions I needed as a poor college student. We only used leftover milk, tea, and gelatin. We split the bill and pay less than $1 each and enjoy a nice dessert for a few days together. This time I'm going to use Japanese green tea instead of milk tea. I used lemon tea before too, and it was also pretty good. If you want to make it vegan, you can use soy milk and agar instead of milk and gelatin. I got this pan on Amazon, but you can use a milk curtain, which is what I used in college.
Really? Huh.
First, soak the gelatin in water.
Oh. That's an interesting way to do gelatin.
Mix the matcha powder and sugar. I used sugar syrup, but you can use normal sugar.
You have to bloom it.
Add heavy milk and mix it well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just never seen gelatin sheets. That's all I'm saying.
Heat up the milk to about 60 degrees Celsius, or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, I'm going to mix the gelatin in the milk. If the milk is too hot, the gelatin will not solidify well.
Uh-oh.
If you don't have a
What's
temperature
that?
checker,
Gusty's coming.
you can taste a sip of milk with a spoon, and if it's too hot to drink, wait until it becomes comfortable.
Ugh, good thing it didn't sneak up on me. I
Obviously,
could mute the
what's
mic.
comfortable will
Oh.
change from person to person, but it can give you a general idea. Take the gelatin out and get rid of excess water with a paper towel.
That is so weird.
Mix the gelatin in the milk. Next, I'm going to melt the white chocolate.
Ooh. See? Good taste. White chocolate. Delicious. Look, it's someone that knows how to use a knife. That's a rarity in the channel.
Mix the chocolate in the milk. Then pour it into the matcha bowl.
Gotta say, I would actually be interested in trying this.
Now everything is combined. Use a strainer to make it smoother.
Oh, I hate that sound though. Oof.
Place the baking sheet in the pan and pour it in. You don't need a baking sheet if you use a milk carton, but you will need a pair of scissors to cut it open.
They're just mesmerized at the moment, aren't they?
Keep it in the fridge for a few hours. You can fall asleep. It'll still take some time. Next, I'm going to prepare whipped cream with lemon.
Ooh.
I was actually out of ice cubes, so I put the stainless bowl in the fridge to make it cold. But you should prepare another bowl with ice cubes to control the temperature. If you accidentally made the cream too hard, mixing in a tablespoon of yogurt will help.
Okay.
Yes, I was out of yogurt too.
Oops. June, you gotta prepare for this stuff. Ooh, there it is. The big reveal. Oh, look at that.
Warming up the knife before slicing can help make clean cuts.
Like, I'm not the biggest fan of matcha as a flavor. I don't think it's awful. It's just not my favorite. But I have to admit, like, stuff made with matcha is generally really pleasing to the eye to me. A little garnish on top.
Yay, it's done. Itadakimasu. It's good, it's not bad, but I feel like something's missing.
Oh, come on. I have no idea what channel this is.
これだ。追い抹茶だ。
Really? June, do you feel better about yourself?
ダメだ。オーラがない。筋肉もない。いただきます。
What's missing is a bit of shame. That's what's missing here, June. Let's be honest.
追い抹茶いいっすね。美味しくなりました。いただきます。
Oh no, though. Yeah, no. Stop.
しないとな、筋トレ。
June's like, Ash, bore thou shame land. Probably true. Probably true.
In my opinion, matcha really goes well with anything lemony. This combination is really good. It's a pretty simple recipe, so if you get a chance, please give it a try. By the way, on my vlog channel with my wife, I have a video where we went to Kyoto and learned everything about green tea. The CEO of D-Matcha, Daiki-san, is one of the coolest Japanese people I've ever met. If you're interested, please go check it out. Thank you for watching. See you guys later. Bye. Oh, thank you for licking. Oh, are you licking matcha powder? Alright, I give you some more food.
Ah, good times, good times. Alright. Alright, keep on that good vibe, or are we gonna... Oh no. Well, so much for the good times. Let's see what old PragerU's up to, shall we? Let's see. I want something that's not like not an hour long. That's for fucking sure. I want something a little shorter. More condensed stupidity, maybe. Well, what do you mean down pretty bad? It's over almost 3 million subscribers, so... The difference between a democracy and a republic. I am horribly curious about this distinction. Okay, so PragerU is going to tell us the difference between a democracy and a republic, which A republic is a type of democratic government. It's a democracy. I hate this conservative bullshit. Like, well, I mean, we're a constitutional republic, not really a democracy. It's like, guys, there's a literal definition. In fact, I will show you the definition of a republic. It's a form of government in which power is held by the people and their elected representatives. In republics, the country is considered a public matter, not a private concern or property rules. Correct? Simple, straightforward. Private position of powers in a republic are attained through democracy, or a mix of democracy with oligarchy and autocracy. Gee, familiar. Rather than being unalterably occupied by a given family, lineage, or group. With modern republicanism, it has become the opposing form of government to a monarchy. It's a democracy. It is a type of democracy. This is not hard. But let's see how PragerU's going to fuck this up, shall we?
At the close of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787, legend has it that a woman called out to Benjamin Franklin to ask what kind of government the delegates had created. Franklin responded, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." A republic? Shouldn't Franklin have said a democracy?
He did, technically.
Isn't that what we have in the United States?
Yes.
Most people today would say yes. After all, if our country isn't a democracy, what is it? It's not a dictatorship, the rule of one man, or an oligarchy ruled by a small group. In America, the people are in charge. That's literally what democracy means in the original Greek. Demos, kratos. The people, demos, rule, kratos. But let's pause for a moment and consider more deeply what the word means in practice.
In other words, let's twist the truth a little.
And why the delegates in Philadelphia rejected it. That's right, rejected it. Our government was established by a national charter, the Constitution of the United States. We are governed by...
Well, Articles of Confederation were the first things, but hey, no one's perfect.
...by the institutions and according to the rules and principles created and adopted when our forebears ratified that document, making it the supreme law of the land. Are those institutions, properly speaking, democratic?
It's a Republican democracy. The people vote a person. Yeah, it's representative. It's a representative democracy. Correct. It's PragerU being dumbasses. Intentionally so. PragerU is run by liars, schemers, grifters. That's all they are. That's all they've ever been.
The men who bequeathed our form of government to us, those we call our founding fathers, didn't see it that way. They understood the institutions established by the Constitution to be Republican. In fact, though the founders believed in government of the people, by the people, for the people, as Abraham Lincoln put it in the Gettysburg Address, they did not believe in pure or unrestricted democracy.
Yes. Yes, the United States is not a direct democracy. That is true. But it is a representative democracy.
They feared that democracy, strictly speaking, contained within it the impulse to mob rule, the stifling of civil liberty, the trampling by majorities of the rights of minority.
Yeah, no, conservatives are good about that part, aren't they?
To put it more bluntly, pure democracy frightened them. So while they built into the Constitution significant democratic elements, they also built in non-democratic features to protect liberty and prevent tyranny. It wasn't simply that they favored representative government over direct democracy, though they did. It's that they rejected the idea that the majority wins was by definition the just outcome. Indeed, in what is perhaps the most famous of the 85 Federalist Papers, Federalist 10, James Madison, precisely in distinguishing a democracy, which he did not favor, from a republic, which he did, noted that a crucial advantage of republicanism is to refine the public views by passing them through the medium of a chosen body of citizens whose wisdom may best discern the true interests of the country.
Representative democracy, yes. Guys, why are we having a video that's about 6 minutes long explaining something we already know that you're just trying to be obtuse about? I mean, we know why, you're lying, scheming assholes. But still, Your propaganda. That's all it is.
And so we have representative government. And more than that, we have a bicameral, that is, two-tiered legislature. A Congress with a highly democratic House of Representatives and a not very democratic Senate. Therefore, California, with its massive population, has 52 representatives in the House. Wyoming has 1. Yet Wyoming has 2 senators, the same number as California and every other state. A pure Democrat would say that's unfair. Each Wyoming resident has far more power than every Californian. But a Republican would say, well, we aren't and shouldn't be a pure democracy.
Yeah, I like how they're trying to conflate Republican as in the GOP with the Republic. And democracy is blue and the evil Democrats. Don't get me wrong, Democrats are dumb too. They're a bunch of idiots, self-serving, centrist assholes. But again, that isn't what we talk about when we come about democracy and a republic. It's just obfuscation.
Large population states like California would overwhelm the needs and interests of small population states like Wyoming. That's why we're called the United States of America.
And that's why smaller states hold us all hostage with their dumbass bullshittery and in fact take a lot more of our money because they're red states and they're fucking poor. Hi, I live in Ohio. It's mostly a red state. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Each state has its own separate identity, holds its own separate elections. Just as we don't want one person or small group of people to dominate our government, we don't want one state or a few states to dominate our government. A republic is a way of diffusing power, and a brilliant one at that. We see something similar in the Constitution's procedures for choosing a president. An obvious possibility would have been by a national popular vote.
Which we should fucking be doing.
The founders wisely decided against this option.
It's not wise.
Rather, they created an electoral college.
Which is a fucking joke. The electoral college is outdated, it is not needed anymore, and in fact it has led to some of the dumbest decisions. That somebody can get more votes than someone else and lose. Not saying I wanted Hillary to be president, but she should have been in that election. But it's because the electoral college, which has a lot of stupid things that happen, like, I don't know, the electorate's not voting how the state votes, they can just vote their own way, it causes problems. Nope.
To protect the interests of the less
there.
populous states. Even today, their decision makes sense.
No, it fucking doesn't, unless you're, I don't know, fascist assholes that are trying to keep power when you're losing momentum because your ideology is dying out, much like your voting base.
As my Princeton colleague, Professor Alan Gelzo, observes, a direct national popular vote would incentivize campaigns to focus almost exclusively on densely populated urban areas.
Oh no, it would have to focus where people are. But what about the cornfields? How will they vote?
The Electoral College system incentivizes candidates to court voters more broadly, making presidential elections more fully national.
Here's the big problem. Do you know what the Electoral College does? It incentivizes candidates to go to very specific states that have more Electoral College votes. So, like California, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Michigan even. Swing states become more important. And a lot of the littler states don't fucking matter. Here's the reason Hillary lost. Because she didn't go to other states that she should have. She ignored certain states. And the Electoral College said, we're going to punish you for it. Rather than, hey, she's more popular. She's the one that people want to come in. But yet, all we hear is how popular Trump is and why he should have been the one winning because he got more votes. Well, it doesn't fucking matter. The Electoral College is what matters. Now they're pissy about it because it didn't work for them. Yet they're going to fucking sit here and talk about how great of a system it is, even though it kind of fucked them over because they lost the popular vote and the Electoral College. But the problem is the voting that happened because clearly there was some cheating, even though there fucking wasn't. They like the Electoral College because it allows them to keep power as they lose power. It's a rigged system.
So if we understand the system of government our founders bequeathed to us, we will see why they preferred to describe it as a republic rather than a democracy. Of course, it has strong democratic elements, but America was not created to be a pure democracy for very good reasons.
We
Those
know it
reasons
wasn't.
remain as valid today as they were in 1789.
Yeah, so valid. That's why certain people only count as 3/5 of a person because they were so wise. Uh-huh. Didn't your channel defend slavery at some point? I seem to remember that, PragerU. Funny
We
how
should
it's not
go
there
along with
anymore.
those who today are demanding constitutional changes simply because this or that institution or procedure established by the Constitution, say the Senate or the Electoral College, is not democratic. More democratic doesn't necessarily mean better. It doesn't necessarily mean more just.
It doesn't mean worse either, now does it, assholes?
Our founders understood this. So should we. We have a republic, and we should keep it.
Nope.
I'm Robert George, McCormick Professor of Jurisprudence and Director of the James Madison Program at Princeton University for Prager University.
Yeah, no. We definitely need to change the system. It is completely outdated. It does not match how big we've gotten. It does not match how our system is falling and collapsing under its own bureaucratic bullshit. We need to go to more direct democracy when it comes to our elections. I think popular vote should matter way more than electoral college. The electoral college needs to go, and we need to go to a ranked choice voting system. Hands down, without question. It's a more fair system, and it's definitely a far less overly complex and pointless system than the electoral college, where people will cast votes for people that aren't in the goddamn election. We've had that happen. We've had people vote for the fucking vice president to get a vote from the electoral college. That's how fucking dumb and outdated the system is. That people don't have to follow the basic rule, because some of the states, the electorate doesn't have to vote with how the state voted. They can be, I think it's called an unfaithful electorate. I might be misremembering the terminology, but they don't have to technically vote in certain states along what the state voted. So, there's your bit of American history for those that had no idea. Excuse me. Had a hiccup and that came out weird. Whew. I like leaving it up to you rather than me having to pick every time. Something nice and fun and enjoyable. What can we do? Do we have any suggestions for something nice and light and fluffy and enjoyable? So I'm trying to think what might be good that we haven't watched yet. That also isn't copyright. Gotta be careful with that anymore. Ooh. Oh, I had an idea for like a split second and I just lost it. I had it and I lost it. I hate that. Damn it. See, this is why I shouldn't do unplanned stuff like this. I lose my train of thought. Let's see what's going on in the recommended for the moment while I try to figure something out. Let's go with... I am not familiar with Mr. Rex. Is that one of the things that Ash watches all the time? Okay, I guess my question is, how long are the videos generally? Length varies. Yeah. I don't want to get too deep into D&D stuff this late. I mean, it's 1:20. I'd rather keep things not too deep, but definitely don't see a problem with recommending the channel at the very least for those interested. Here is the link.
What do you think you know about mind flayers? And at this point,
shh, don't talk over me. But let's see if we can find a short one, maybe. Let's see. Because I guarantee you Ash has done probably most of this anyway, and you've all probably watched most of them. How about... Well, I mean, it is that time of year, so I guess we'll do this one. Let's do the undead. What do you think? We'll do the undead at least.
Undead are one of the most common enemies that you will face in Dungeons & Dragons, and also one of the most fun to fight against. And there's something special about surviving a horde of zombies while barricading yourselves in a small keep, or entering into a haunted house in an attempt to exorcise the ghost that died there years ago. It is always a great surprise when the bad guy you killed a bunch of episodes ago comes back reanimated as an undead by the true evil villain. Undead are not just fun, but extremely versatile, and that's because there's just so many of them. There's so many that it can actually get frankly confusing. I mean, what's the difference between a wight and a ghoul, or a ghoul and a ghast? Is that a ghost, or is that a specter? Perhaps it is a wraith. Nah, it's probably a banshee, though it kinda looks like a shadow. Let's face it, it gets pretty complicated, and every undead has its own lore and properties. There is
I
much
do
we
like
can
the
talk
undead
about
when it
today,
comes
but
to like
before we get
D&D
into
lore
it,
for
let's
sure.
talk about our sponsor today. This video is brought to you by Quest Onomicon. XP to level 3, your fellow...
We're gonna skip ahead.
But now, back to the video. The full topic of the undead is way too big for me to cover in a single video, and I kind of wanted to do something a bit more relaxing for me in order to cover this whole general topic. See, the thing is, the nature of undead and their rules have changed so much and so often during the editions that it is very difficult to cover all of it as a general topic. And so what I wanted to do was focus on one particular person and one particular setting. And you of course know Ed Greenwood. He was the creator of the Forgotten Realms, the campaign setting where all of these 5th edition adventures are located. And so what I want to know is what he has written about the undead in this world.
Yes, tell us your secrets.
All of these undead related books and adventures that have been released
Libris
throughout the
Mortis.
editions, and simply just focus on the undead book that he wrote and leadered. Because I think it'll be interesting to go through and see what undead originally were like, coming specifically from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Now, the information that you will find on this video is from 1st edition, and again, written either directly by Ed Greenwood or co-written by him, but let's check it out. Undead can be good, and they can be evil. They can experience the full range of emotions and alignments. That being said, creating undead is always an evil act, regardless of the nature of the undead that you're creating. Further, undead are much more dangerous than you know. Fighting the undead is one of the hardest and frankly scariest jobs for any group of adventurers to take, because the attacks from the undead have severe, permanent repercussions. In 5th edition, the undead are just another group of monsters. They frankly don't do anything that different from the rest. The only one that's actually scary still is the ghost, because the ghost can age your character a few decades, and of course nobody wants that. If you fail a specific saving throw and you fail it hard, your character might lose 20 or even 40 years of life. And if you don't fix that with a high level spell immediately, then it becomes permanent. See how hardcore that is? Well, that's how basically every single undead used to be. The wight, the specter, the wraith, these creatures have an ability called Life Drain that basically sucks a bit of life from you and reduces your maximum hit points for the day. Now, you do get those back after you take a long rest. Now, originally, you were not meant to get those back. The ability was instead called Energy Drain, and it used to...
Yeah, 1st edition was a lot more hardcore, that's for sure.
If you were a level 5 fighter and you got hit by Energy Drain, you would become a level 4 fighter. Straight up. If your level was lowered, you would lose all of your features, spells, and abilities and HP that you had gotten from that level. I mean, you would effectively be, for all intents and purposes, how you used to be a level prior. It was hardcore.
Jesus.
All it would take for the monsters to do this to you would be to simply hit you with their melee attack, and that was it. The idea was to make the undead actually scary. You as a player and you as a character really did not want to fight undead. That was the whole reason why the clerics and paladins got so many abilities to help deal with the undead, because players really needed that help. They were super dangerous. Ed Greenwood specifically wrote that he understood that not many players found it fun to lose.
Oh fuck no, I wouldn't either.
So
that if I had started playing
First
edition before any other editions, I probably wouldn't have gotten into D&D because that would be too annoying.
The idea again being that you really did not want to get hit by them. If the Energy Drain ability hit you, you could choose as a DM between A, become completely paralyzed for 1 to 3 minutes. B. Lose all the experience that you got for this level. C. Complete loss of consciousness and permanent loss of maximum hit points alongside losing memorized spells. D. Loss of stat points, then you did a saving throw and if you failed, that loss was permanent. E. The location where the undead hit you withered completely and became unusable, so you could lose an entire arm permanently. Only a heal spell or something of that magnitude could cure it. F. You would suffer a random curse. G. You would get an insanity feature, or if you were a caster, you would permanently simply forget how to cast a spell, and you could never cast it again.
Jesus.
H. Your alignment would change towards that of the attacking undead, and I. You would suffer from the Feeble Mind spell, and then lose 1 point in a random stat. As you can see, all of these options were completely overpowered. I mean, getting touched by an undead was a character-defining moment that would probably change your character's experience for the entirety of the campaign.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'm glad they changed that in later editions. That is awful.
Over time, they went with option C to lose maximum hit points, but they made it so that you remain conscious and the hit point maximum returned to normal after a long rest. Merely a scratch from what it was supposed to be. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the lore of raising the undead. To raise a simple undead, you need what is called the animus. The animus is a fragment of soul energy, the type of energy that helps keep the soul inside of the living body when the creature is still alive. This energy stays in the body after the creature dies and lingers inside until the body eventually turns to dust. This energy stays behind presumably so that if the creature is brought back from the dead, the soul can be reattached to the body. It would also explain why resurrection is much more difficult after a certain period of time, since the animus would eventually disperse, making it almost impossible to raise that dead. Now, spells like Animate Dead bind the animus into the skeleton and then animate it. It knits the bones together magically, binding them with force drawn from the negative energy plane. For the spell to work though, most of the bones need to be there, however, since without most of them, it is impossible for the energy to control the body. This is why when you sever a skeleton in half, most of the time it stops moving and then simply dies, rather than having its mouth continue to bite you or its legs continue to move. Now, once the energy from the negative energy plane binds the bones and the animus is bound to the skeleton, the spellcaster can then tell the animus what to do, and the skeleton or zombie will do exactly as the order commands. Nothing more, nothing less. The skeleton will take the literal definition of what it is told, and then will brainlessly attempt to accomplish those things. The magic of these spells can penetrate grave dirt really easy, since it is tainted with negative energy. Negative energy from the negative energy plane is particularly potent in severing the material plane, and at the moment of the spell's activation, that energy becomes very potent. For the first few seconds of the spell being cast, the undead is to be bombarded with these energies, allowing the newly created undead to destroy material from the prime easily for those few seconds. This is actually why the newly raised undead have the strength and ability to break open their sarcophagi, even whilst underground, which would be really difficult, and how they can dig and climb out of grave dirt easily. Spells that protect a corpse from becoming
That's actually
undead,
pretty
like
interesting
drive the animus
explanation
from
for
one's
that
remains,
lore.
and then further makes it impossible for the deceased to be raised as any sort of undead creature, presumably in such a way that would still allow for resurrection. What holy water does is it undoes the negative energy plane's energy that binds the undead, hurting the creature and then weakening it in the process. Cold magic does absolutely no damage to them, but fire does double. Because the important thing is to sever the animated bones in order to break the spell, the crushing damage of maces and flails deals double damage to skeletons and skeleton
That's why you
zombies.
always bring a
This is
club
why
or
it
a
is
quarterstaff
tradition
or a
that
blunt
clerics
object.
always use
Never know when an
maces
undead is going to be
because
around.
They are the de facto undead slayer. Now, slashing and piercing only do half damage, while piercing projectiles basically do 0 damage. Arrows are useless when fighting against bones, since they either glance off of the bones or simply fly through the creature, or maybe get stuck on the useless flesh of the skeletal zombie. Now, something that you probably didn't know is that you can indeed create living zombies, as paradoxical as that sounds. In the Forgotten Realms, there is a combination of spells that, when used together, can have you permanently control a living person as if they were undead as your thrall. These include spells like Feeble Mind to mentally weaken a person, Dominate Person to govern their mind, and a form of Animate Dead alongside other spells. Now, this combination of spells rely on something that is actually very hag-like. in that you must insert a piece of yourself into the individual for you to be able to control them. Typically, this will be a piece of nail deposited right on the back of the neck by the spine. Since in necromantic magic, the spine of a person is considered to be the center of the spirit. And what comes out of all of this we call living zombies. And this allows the necromancer to effectively control these individuals as if they were permanently affected by the dominate spell. Effectively, this would allow an evil necromancer to control people roughly similar to how a vampire does it, though generally you can only control up to 5 creatures in this way. Now, in order to reverse the process or save a person that has become a living zombie, all you would have to do is remove the nail from the back of the neck, and the person would then go back to normal.
So tweezers got it.
If the person dies, though, while still affected by this magic, they would turn into a normal undead zombie that would still be permanently under the control of the necromancer. Now, this art of creating living zombies is useful in that you can have a very powerful necromancer do all of the magic and prepare the spell, but then use the nail of a different creature so that that other creature will get to control the undead. And that is great for delegating power throughout your evil lair. Now, when it comes to fighting some of these undead, there are a few things that are good to keep in mind. Casting a lesser restoration upon a zombie or skeleton will actually cure that zombie from any diseases that he might be carrying, so that he cannot contract you with those diseases. This is, for example, very useful in dealing with things like rot grubs, who are rendered inactive and passive for a time when under the spell. It is also extremely useful against mummies, for example, because it nullifies their rot attack. But we're not really talking about mummies today. Now, garlic
well, I mean, they are
is
undead, so why aren't you?
Vampires, actually, but only in that it is offensive to them. It doesn't actually hurt them or repel them or anything that hardcore, but merely makes them hesitate for a round or two. It is believed that there is a chemical reaction that is produced when the gas form of a vampire mixes with the garlic, and it basically slows down their transformation between mist form and physical form, which the vampire finds just simply uncomfortable. Now, in terms of holy symbols, a symbol is only useful against undead if it has been consecrated by a cleric who can cast at least level 2 spells. Without that consecration, the amulet holds no power, and it's basically just merely a drawing to the undead. Attempting to censor, charm, or turn undead using your channel divinity without your symbol will automatically fail, unless you're a cleric that can cast level 5 spells, but it does lower the effectiveness of the channel divinity by basically 1/3. Now, a cleric
Gotta say, I still have
using
never played a
different
cleric.
God's holy symbol to channel divinity can do so, but must use their channel divinity as if they are 6 levels lower. But it is important to note that this is considered a serious matter, and gods do not like this. Now, contact by the undead to a holy symbol is damaging to the undead, and it functions similarly to holy water in that way. In fact, under the right circumstances, you could even use a holy symbol as a physical weapon and strike the undead with it. The alignment of the god or of the person wearing the holy symbol does not matter, and the damage will always function as
Okay,
holy
now I'm just
water.
imagining somebody putting a holy
have
symbol on the end of a on the end of like a quarterstaff, and it's going around thwacking undead with it.
Destroy undead in that way is pretty cool. Now, priests can indeed lend their holy symbols to others.
Like, I heal you.
By additional clergies. Oh, I should also mention that the only undead who do not take damage from holy symbols are the revenants and the poltergeists. The undead are creatures of the night, and of course they are accustomed to darkness. Outside of specific exceptions like, obviously shadows and vampires, undead are actually not harmed by the light of the day. They, however, find light to be generally irritating and annoying, and most times will even attack bearers of light for this very reason. Lastly, the old school practice of tossing salt over one's shoulder to ward off evil is not completely without merit, but it won't save you from the undead. Even though the undead are not directly harmed by salt,
I wonder what it'd be like to have like
contact with
an
salt
entire
actually
party of
causes
clerics.
undead to recoil. Thanks to the negative energies.
I could do a
that course through the
spin-off of
undead's
my
body,
stupid Edgar
when
Longrod
met with
character who
salt, it
preaches the
causes
good word,
cold,
the gay bulge.
non-flammable blue
There you go.
flames to erupt in the undead's body, and then, of course, it causes the undead to flinch. This can be used to find hidden undead, though it will only work on those that have a tangible.
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting to get a group of clerics together from different
Now, this
gods
one is
going on an
really,
adventure
Really cool. The one type of undead who are
to like
severely
traverse
harmed by
a
salt are
a temple that was discovered. So like it's an uncovered temple going through, and it's just like a group of clerics, like 4, 5, 6 maybe at most, and just like an undead like
this effect will last from 10 to 40 days.
what's one thinking?
However, and this is the crucial
Gauntlet.
part, if you can somehow get not just like a sprinkle of salt into the dirt, but instead thoroughly mix the vampire's grave dirt with at least 10 pounds of salt, the vampire permanently loses its vampiric powers and instead becomes a shadow forever.
Ooh.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There is, of course, so much more to talk about the Undead.
Just spoopiness.
And specifically about Ed Greenwood's version of the Undead, but I needed this video to not be very long because there's other stuff that I have to do for the channel on the background that I'm currently working on. But I do hope that at least you guys got to enjoy the video. And make sure.
There you go. That's at least something to take in consideration. I mean, I think Undead are just very fun characters in general, as far as like villains. If you get the smarter ones. I am not, I don't believe. For a future hero? I see. But right now we're going for something a little more painful. So, what pain can we inflict on ourselves? Curious. See if there's been anything new since the whole melanin thing. You know what? I don't think I'm going to deal with Julie Juice stuff today. Let's not say we did. Something bad, terrible, wrong. I don't know if I should do this. Okay, good. He hasn't had anything new, so I don't have to do John Doyle. Thank fucking God. What in the fuck is
Often.
it? I get. We'll call this.
I like to imagine there's a sort of animal popularity iceberg. You know, like one of those.
We'll try this
icebergs
one.
You've seen in every crevice.
Because something tells me this isn't going to be ready to
The
watch.
iceberg would obviously be the most basic animals that everyone knows. Then the lower you go, the more obscure and unknown the animals. The middle of the iceberg would probably be something like, I don't know, emu? Seriously, ask around. A surprisingly slim amount of people know about emus. And what's at the bottom?
Who doesn't know what the fucking
well,
emu
mostly
is?
things I haven't even heard of. But certainly, one of these creatures that I bet a lot less than 1% of the population know of is this. No, it's not a worm. It's a Sicilian. One of the weirdest creatures you've never heard of. So firstly, what even is this thing?
Luckily, it's not long.
Although maybe superficially similar to an eel or a snake, Sicilians are in fact amphibians, like frogs. And if you know your amphibians, you know their slimy skin has to be moisturized from time to time so they don't, explode, I think. Sicilians are the same, and always seek out wet environments. For a select few South American species, who go by the misnomer
The
rubber
rest of
eels,
Southern Islands,
this
Sicily.
means spending their lives in fresh water. But for most species, this means living underground. Sicilians will form complex webways of underground burrows to squirm through the ground.
I know this isn't
Therefore, they
exactly
also have evolved many
a
traits
pain,
of a
but
creature that is surrounded by
I don't think
dirt
it's going to be pleasant to look at
24/7.
as we get going in
For
farther.
one, their skulls are strong and pointed
Oh.
to allow them to dig through the ground without harming themselves. Their bodies are also segmented, similar to earthworms. Another trait of underground life is their vision isn't all that good. Their eyes essentially only act as sensors to detect light and dark. All of the other features of eyesight.
There's things I
are
could say
lost.
this looks like, but I'm
They
sure
prove
robots are already thinking
unnecessary
it.
enough that Sicilian eyes are covered by skin, and in some species, bone. Now, most other burrowing animals also lack eyesight, but make up for that in excellent hearing, like the mole. Sicilians would be the same as well, right? Well, no. Sicilians don't follow the status quo or listen to anybody, mainly because their hearing is also awful.
Yep, that explains
Now,
it.
without good eyes or ears, It seems like a mystery how these animals get around, but if you look a bit closer, you will see one of the Sicilians' definitive attributes, their stellar mustache. These are actually a pair of tentacles that they can use to feel the world around them, and it is through these tentacles the Sicilians become proficient hunters of their chosen prey, namely invertebrates like worms and termites, although rubber eels, those aquatic species, will go after fish and regular eels. In order to defend themselves from being eaten, these animals secrete toxins through their skin that don't make them edible to predators. If their tentacles and toxic skin don't give it away, Sicilians aren't like any other group of amphibians. They aren't really related to any of the other groups either. An early ancestor of Sicilians, Eosicilia, looks much more like a very stretched salamander. It still possessed legs
Long
and
salamander
presumably working
confirmed.
eyes, but this animal lived all the way in the early Jurassic period, some 190 million years ago. The Sicilians that would evolve from this ancestor would only grow weirder and drift further away from other amphibian groups. For instance, most amphibians lay soft-shelled eggs in water, with some exceptions being a few species of salamander, which give live birth. But a majority of Sicilians don't lay eggs. They too are viviparous, or give birth to young. The ones that do lay eggs aren't any less weird. For some egg layers, their larvae are aquatic and are born
Oh.
with gills, similar to other amphibians. But eventually their skin
That's an
will
unpleasant
thicken
looking
and be
cluster.
replaced by their lungs. Other Sicilians make it even weirder. There's one species of Sicilian out there, Bolangerilla titana, whose females grow a thick, nutritious coat of skin. When her eggs hatch, the young will eat this layer of skin, which will regenerate every few days until the young are large enough to leave her. Because, you know, why not? Another thing separating them from
Oh, that's
amphibians
weird.
is their face. Look at the face of a frog. What a happy little creature, ready to eat some flies and hop around. Now let's look at the face of a Sicilian. It can't be that bad, can it? Well,
Oh, God.
you see, the Sicilians have rows of many needle-sharp teeth in order to catch their prey. Just be glad no Sicilians...
So
stick
this
their
is where they got
lungs
the
in
idea
their
for
feet.
Tremors, right?
I really wish there was more to say about Sicilians, but there isn't. And it's not because they're rare. There are over 100 species of Sicilian, probably more yet to be discovered, and they're spread across 3 continents, in many of the tropical regions
Ugh.
of the world. It's just that, once more, the trait of living underground is both you can't
Sorry,
see,
that was just
and
disturbing
people
to look
don't really
at.
see you either. Sicilians remain obscure to science because it's pretty hard to study them when they're always underground, in some of the more difficult climates in the world to live. And thus, Sicilians remain pretty unknown to not just the average person, but even those dedicated to studying animals. It is because of this Sicilians remain at the bottom of that iceberg. Their combination of obscurity and abnormalness make them a truly unique animal. Thanks for watching.
Whew. Sorry, that frontal view of the face. Jesus Christ, that was rough. Oof. Let's hear what Jeremy's up to. Let's see. Do you want to listen to the quartering that badly? Just curious. Maybe we can. I'd rather not deal with the Chappelle shit. We can do the 15 most offensive Halloween costumes. Triggering woke weirdos. I'm sure there'll be completely sensible takes from Jeremy. Oh god, what stupid clips is he gonna fucking throw now? Yeah, I'm tired of it too.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Wow.
tried it.
Sorry, that's just annoying.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering, and it wouldn't be Halloween time if we weren't getting offended and banning costumes and ending Halloween celebrations, as if the crippling supply chain issues keeping candy and decorations off the shelf weren't enough. Schools and cities are getting extra woke this year and
Yes, extra woke. Because maybe certain costumes aren't in good taste because sensibilities have changed. Just couldn't be that. No. It's they're too woke.
making sure they are banning things like the pumpkin parade because it marginalizes people. I guess. Seattle school cancels pumpkin parade for marginalizing people of color. School encouraged autumnal work and sharing all the cozy feelings of the season. Instead, exactly what about buying a pumpkin is race related? A Halloween themed parade at a school in Seattle has been canceled. School administrators arguing that it marginalizes people of color.
Okay.
Following 5 years of deliberation about the future of the school's annual pumpkin parade, Benjamin Franklin Elementary School decided to end the holiday tradition this year on the advice of the school's racial equity team. The fact that this position exists should tell you something.
Maybe it does tell us something. We'll see. This might actually be a reasonable thing. Let's find out. And also because trying to make sure that there's racial equity is somehow a bad thing, Jeremy? Really? Then again, considering you're a crowd, I wouldn't be surprised if you did find that a bad thing.
The pumpkin parade had traditionally featured a procession of elementary students dressed in Halloween costumes.
Okay.
Historically, the pumpkin parade marginalizes students of color who do not celebrate the holiday. What?
Okay, Jeremy, I can answer this before you even start going off about something dumb. Fun fact, not every culture celebrates Halloween. I know America is not the center of the fucking world, and not everyone celebrates things the way we do. I know, it blows the mind. But Halloween is not celebrated everywhere by everyone. Okay? In fact, there are people here from the US that don't celebrate it for religious reasons, for instance, that are white. Shocking, I know. But just saying, Halloween is not done in every culture. But let's see how the rest of this goes.
On what planet is Halloween like a race-specific holiday?
I mean, we can do this real quick, Jeremy. Just look up Halloween. Halloween, or Halloween, a contradiction of All Hallows Evening, also known as All Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and All Saints Day, or All Saints Eve, celebration observed in many countries on the 31st October, the eve of the Western Christian Feast of All Hallows Day. You know, it has a tie to Christianity in a lot of aspects, but it has a lot of traditions that are influenced by, it says right here, even, we all know, Celtic harvest festivals. So, yeah, Samhain, which was a Celtic thing, adapted by Christians, and made into All Hallows Eve, and then became Halloween. Do you maybe get it here, buddy boy? It's kind of got its connection in Christianity and pagan beliefs from, like, Gaelic countries, like Ireland, Scotland, stuff like that. So, maybe that's what it is, Jeremy. Just saying. A little Google searching will do you good if you're not just looking for reasons to be upset and grift for content.
When has that ever been a thing?
Hanukkah, by the way. See? Right there. A race-specific holiday. Hanukkah. Now, it's more of a religious-specific holiday for a certain sect, since Hanukkah is a Jewish traditional holiday from, the Jewish tradition. However, there is the whole aspect of they are a ethnic group, so if we call it a race-specific religion, that's a very kind of tenuous connection to that. But the fact is, if we have religions that connect specifically to certain ethnic groups, just saying, not a stretch, Jeremy, at all. Or am I wrong here, chat? Is what I'm saying here dumb? Am I really just so out of touch that what I'm saying is just incorrect? Or is Jeremy's brain just kind of rattling around in there like normal, banging against everything and just getting more and more bruised?
I'm honestly asking, like, I always figured everyone celebrated Halloween.
No. This is why I don't like Jeremy sometimes, because he's so simplistically stupid. There are plenty of countries that don't celebrate Halloween. They just don't. That's not in their cultures. Not every culture's Western. Yeah, exactly.
What about... I mean, what? I see decorations out in Milwaukee all the time in the city, like...
Yes, Milwaukee's the rest of the fucking world, Jeremy. God damn it, you fucking hilljack dumbass. I know Milwaukee's not a hilljack kind of thing. I'm just saying he's a fucking moron. And maybe that's rude to hilljacks. I don't know. I don't really care. Fucking Christ. Countries that don't celebrate Halloween. Just for fun. We'll go here. Yeah, Halloween was a thing in Brazil for a long time. It's slowly gaining. Okay, here we go. Geography of Halloween. Yeah, it's not really done much in China. Japan does it very differently. It's more just everybody go and get drunk kind of thing. It's not Halloween the way you think it is. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't giving me... This is talking about the different traditions involving that. But yeah, not every country does it. France, Germany, Holland, Taiwan, Austria, Australia, and most Asian and African countries do not celebrate Halloween. I mean... So there we go. Like, we know countries that don't, Jeremy.
Downtown, everyone has Halloween decorations up. In a place of the pumpkin parade, students will may participate in autumnal work. Autumnal. Why am I gonna say that word? And thematic units of study about the fall. Ooh, sounds super spooky. Oh wait, you can't actually say that word anymore. According to NPR, Halloween, what does it mean to call something spooky? That's right. So you're at your friend's elaborately decorated Halloween party. There are cobwebs hanging from the ceiling, bloody handprints on the wall, and a frothing potion brewing on the stove. It's creepy and scary, but is it spooky? Sure, spook can refer to a ghost. It can also refer to a spy. But as many of us know, it's also a slur for black people. That, by the way, nobody has used since the 50s.
Yes, because the 50s were incredibly long ago, as we all know. You know, it was in the long, long ago time of, let's see, 10, 70-ish years ago. Such a long time. I'm sure that my parents, born in the 1950s, by the way, have no recollection of life during that time period because it was so long ago. Jeez. I know, right? Come on, we all know it's so long ago that everyone from the 50s is dead. Completely dead. Betty White? Nah. She lived through the 50s. She's too young to remember the 1950s. I fucking hate Jeremy.
All right, this is on NPR. This is why I will never donate money to this organization.
Oh no, Jeremy's dirty money won't go to NPR. How fucking horrible.
Nobody refers to black people with that terminology and haven't for 30, 40 years.
Jeremy. Let's see, it's 2021. What's 30 years ago from 2021? The 1990s? The 1980s, if you're going 40 years? I don't think you math very well, buddy.
You're producing this? Like, who sees a spooky ghost and is like, ha, excuse me, sir.
Now, mind you, I use the word spooky. A lot of us use the word spooky. The problem is, it is still a word that has some bad connotations. And I'm guilty of using it too. The spook season streams, for instance. But again, there is an issue of context. However, we need to be conscious of the fact that maybe it's something we might change. I don't know. It might be something that ends up changing. We don't use it anymore. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, horribly offended that, yeah, it used to be a racial slur. It may not be widely used. I don't think it's not used because, well, let's face it, racists like going back to the well for old things. Especially when you need low-key words for dog whistling. So, yeah.
Are you referring to my African-American neighbor? Or this ghost with candles and knives? I just can't tell. Are you referring to this pumpkin or my POC wife?
Yeah, I do believe in spooks. I shouldn't really play this clip. Just saying. I'll just try to find where it says it. See, right there. Stop. It says it right there. Because they're going through the woods at that point and they're talking about ghosts and such. But again, let's be fair, that was during a time when there was a lot of racial inequality. A lot. A lot. We're talking like Woodrow Wilson era kind of stuff. I hope they don't nuke my VOD for that.
Excuse me, sir, please don't use spooky around me. This on top of even more nonsense. This is all around the country. This is not just, by the way, in these woke states. East Lansing, Michigan, calls off Halloween and Valentine's Day celebrations over equity concerns. I can't imagine there's ever been a modern conversation, unless they're talking about the amount of equity in your home or equity you have invested in something.
Not the same thing, dumbass. Not the same thing at all.
That's ever been good when people talk about equity. It's the replacement for equality, where equity is this.
It's not a replacement. It's just another word for it. What? Get a fucking thesaurus.
Thing that this nebulous thing where, you know, we don't want equality, we want equity.
Just for fun. Equity, the equality of being fair and impartial. So fairness, justice, impartiality, egalitarianism, honesty, integrity, yeah. Neutrality, yeah. I think we can use the word equality, equity here rather nicely.
We don't want an equal playing field. We want this playing field that we say is equal now, when taking everything else into perspective.
Yes.
East Lansing Public Schools elementary principal sent a joint letter to family Wednesdays announcing there would no longer be Halloween or Valentine's Day celebration in the classroom due to potential distractions and uncomfortable families. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really. Maybe that area has a thing with the people that live there and their views on things. I'm sorry if that bugs you. You can still celebrate Valentine's Day in your own time, Halloween in your own time. The schools may not be doing that because they're looking at the entirety of their district and taking into account all the different families that live there, because that's what school districts are supposed to do. And since, the people that live there are part of the community, and the community is, in charge of the government, technically, because they do the voting and that, their concerns matter? Their concerns matter, Jeremy. This isn't hard. If my kids' school district, if my school district said tomorrow, they're not doing Valentine's Day stuff anymore, or Halloween stuff anymore, do you think I'd fucking care? No, because we can still do Halloween outside of it. We can still do Valentine's Day outside of it. You don't need it. The school doesn't need to hype it up. It just doesn't.
Each year, along with the fun of Halloween parties and parades, we also have students whose families do not celebrate or feel comfortable with their children participating in Halloween festivities. We have young children who become overwhelmed and sometimes frightened of the costumes, and others who come to school with no costume at all. In recent years, some families have kept children home or even picked them up early. This sounds like a bunch of, tiger helicopter moms?
Conservatives, yes, a lot of that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not the word you're looking for. You're looking for liberal, quote unquote. No, because there's you have to take into account Muslim families that may not celebrate Halloween for various reasons, and their views on it. You have certain Christian sects that are very vehemently against a lot of the stuff that Halloween, as far as how America in a general sense celebrates it, and their dislike of it. I mean, hell, early Christians, like settlers here in the U.S., were against Christmas. The Puritans were against Christmas. Are you going to sit here and complain if people started going against Christmas again? There's a basis of Christians not liking Christmas. It just changed over time. Views change. And certain cultures have a thing against the supernatural and celebrating the undead and stuff like that in the way they do Halloween. And Halloween's gotten a lot more commercialized in a way that it gets over-sexualized. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having sexy costumes, but I mean, it gets a little racy, if you will, when it comes to being around younger children. It's a little much. But again, it's a matter of the culture that the family has grown up in or is a part of, as far as communities, religious communities, or, the like. Or just the general views of they don't like Halloween. It could be a family thing. where they find it not conducive to the upbringing of their children, which is their right as parents. I don't have to necessarily agree with everything they say, but they have the right to have that opinion. Get what I mean? So their district, which may have a higher population of people that have a problem with stuff like Halloween and Valentine's Day, are concerned about it, and they're changing to fit those concerns and take them in consideration because, again, that's how communities work.
Are you like really?
Really?
You'd mean you can't afford, like, is this some people can't afford Halloween costumes?
That's probably very true, yes.
Such a cop-out.
Yes, poor. That's such a cop-out. You're being poor. Like, just don't be poor and have Halloween costumes. Copping out and feeling left out and inadequate, and how that can be bad for your children, being like one of the few kids that doesn't have a costume. Suck a dick, Jeremy. A nice big long black one, just like your gay black dads. All three of them. I'm sure they'd be so proud of you. Sorry, I can't stand Jeremy. I can't stand Jeremy. He's insufferable. I am insufferable times two, and I know that. Jeremy is me in some ways if I had never actually gotten my head out of my own ass in some ways growing up. I could have become this insufferably dumb. And that's terrifying to think about.
You can make a Halloween costume out of anything you have laying around your house. And you can make it look good, too.
Really? So everyone just has the ability to make good-looking costumes from just whatever's laying around the house. See, I don't think so. And kids are harsh critics. Kids are assholes. I know. I was one at one point, and I'm raising two of them. Kids are assholes. And it's just, Jeremy, you're not the one living through the situation. I'm sorry. Your opinion doesn't fucking matter here. You're not part of that community, and you're not one of those families that have to deal with that kind of stuff. Nor are you the children that has to deal with that kind of stuff. Stop.
All right, so I don't want to hear that you need a bunch of money to have a cool Halloween.
You don't need a bunch of money, but you may not have the disposable income to do it.
15 offensive Halloween costumes that shouldn't exist.
How old is this? Hang on, let me... Okay, so this is still newer. It's from this year at least.
Okay. As a former theater kid, great. I get excited about just about every aspect of Halloween. Dressing up in an elaborate Halloween costume, eating so much candy that I get a sugar headache, and carving a pumpkin and making my partner scoop out the guts for me.
Oh no. Jeremy has a problem with the word partner because he's a fuckwit.
What's not to like? This year in particular, a lot of us will probably go even bigger to make up for missing Halloween parties last year. Actually, that's not even going to be possible because you're not going to be able to purchase anything.
Yes, because the 15 here are all the costumes in the world.
Now, I'm not sure where this exists. As hard as it is to believe, more than one celebrity has been called up for dressing up as a bad guy from WW2 for Halloween. By the way, there should be 0 rules for costumes.
No, the fuck it shouldn't be 0 rules. There should definitely still be rules for costumes. Or Jeremy, I want you to do me a favor. Go out in blackface on Halloween and tell me how that goes for you, Mr. No Rules. I'm sure you'll get a lot of very positive feedback. You dumbass.
Halloween, 0 rules. Just dressing up as somebody who was the victim of that is just as bad. Now, that is pretty spicy. I don't know that I would, like, the thing is, it's a costume that looks like, WW2 evacuee girl or 1940s girl costume. Anything involving blackface.
Whoa, wait. Go back. He won't say Nazi, and he wouldn't say Anne Frank. Do you notice that?
looks like, WW2 evacuee girl.
Evacuee? She died. There was no evacuation. Anne Frank died. Maybe. But even still. It sounds like he's trying to dodge saying it, and... not a good look.
Or 1940s girl costume. Anything involving blackface? Okay, well, that's probably reasonable. Probably
Oh no, Mr. Zero Rules thinks something is reasonable.
shouldn't, you should probably tell Justin Trudeau. And then we have the third one.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau's an asshole, your point.
The third one. So we go from literal victims of what happened in WW2 to...
You can say Holocaust, Jeremy. It is an event that happened. You are not going to get hit bad for saying the word Holocaust. I get it. YouTube has problems. Boy, does it. I doubt you're going to get hit hard for just mentioning the word Holocaust, especially this far into your video.
To blackface, to transphobic. Apparently, a tranny granny costume is...
It is a bit questionable, especially when you're calling it that.
Is phobic. Yeah. Don't dress up like the coof. Yeah, because...
The coof. The coof. If the wall was a little closer, I'd be banging my skull against it right now.
These people...
I know, right?
Live in fear every single day. Body shaming and objectifying costumes.
Oh.
Like, really?
Oh, God. 1, yikes. 2, that is a just ugly costume.
Cultural stereotypes.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, this is pretty funny. Like, I'm not sure that... But this is clearly a Disney thing, isn't it?
Yes, based on an indigenous group and their more traditional garb of that time period for looking at how, they view their gods and the people at that time period. Now, mind you, I've not seen Moana, so I'm not completely familiar on, the day-to-day look. Exactly, that costume was never released because of that. But the point is, yeah, I can see people look at it as cultural appropriation because, and I mean that in the bad way. Culture's appropriate all the time, but there's layers to it. There's layers to it. And there's certain things you shouldn't appropriate. And I think traditional garb generally isn't the worst thing in the world to say, hey, let's not do that. And I'm like, I think that's fair. Let's not. Feathered headdresses and the like. Maybe we shouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mona or Momo or whatever.
Wait.
Moana. Like, I'm not sure that...
But
this
listen,
is clearly a Disney
listen
thing,
to this
isn't
shit
it?
again.
Yeah, Mona or Momo or whatever.
Jeremy. Slow down. It's a 5-letter word. And you fucked it up that badly. Fucking fantastic reading.
Moana. Or Pocahontas. Or Terry. Oh yeah, don't dress up like them. Definitely don't want to dress up as anything.
Terry? Are you fucking 3, Jeremy? Use the fucking proper words. You can say terrorist.
Spooky. Zombie versions of recently deceased celebrities? No, that is totally acceptable.
Questionable, I'll say that much.
An eating disorder. Who dresses... I'm not exactly sure how you dress up like a eating disorder, but I don't think that should be banned.
I'm not even going to say anything.
I mean, there's all these, like, a homeless person. I mean, come on. Like, where are these people? There's just no fun in their life. There's no, like, intent matters. And if you're dressing your kid up like a hobo, like riding the rails with a can of beans and the sack of, and a sack on their shoulder, those kind of hobos that don't actually exist. Shout out to Stove the Hobo.
Wow. Wow. Hobos that don't exist. I mean, the terminology's changed, but homeless people still exist, Jeremy. Still fucking exist. And the hobo is now pretty much just a caricature of the poor. And the downtrodden in the US especially. So, it might not be the best kind of costume to use anymore, if you know what I mean. We've grown past it.
You know, offensive Halloween. Parents rank most inappropriate costumes to avoid. Let's see what parents have to say here. Well, okay, anything blackface. Anything with the Confederate flag. That's up there, 38%. Well, that's...
I will say a zombie Confederate would be acceptable because, they lost, and it's good to have the losers where they belong. Usually 6 feet under in that war. Ho ho. There's a hot take. But no, I don't see the problem with certain aspects of a Confederate costume, but like going around like glorifying it, yeah, no. But again, zombie Confederate soldier, I can at least see that as acceptable.
That's a piece of history. I'm not sure about that. What parents is this? Transphobic costumes, please.
Yeah, please don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be transphobic. Well, that's why I said Confederate soldier, not... Well, if we can shoot him in video games, I don't see a problem with the costume, as long as you make it, like, really zombified. Like, skull exposing, like, rotting skin thing. I can kind of maybe see that. Just don't armband it, you know what I mean? Don't armband it. But, again, that's on that questionable side. You don't need to dress up as a Nazi. But zombie things tend to be okay to certain extents. But you don't need any flags or anything involved with all these costumes.
Coof-related costume. Stereotypes. Overtly spicy costumes. No way. That's like the one thing I look forward to.
Yes, Jeremy, we know you're horny and your wife likes going out and pizza and not being with you.
About Halloween. And religious costumes, that's on the list? Who are these losers?
I don't know, look in the mirror.
There should absolutely be no limits whatsoever on costumes. Okay, you want to argue that, blackface probably, you probably shouldn't do that.
Probably shouldn't. Not definitely shouldn't, but you probably shouldn't. No, you definitely shouldn't, Jeremy. It's a definite. That's definite. Don't be racist. Simple.
I think that's reasonable. But most of these other things, dressing your kid up as Anne Frank, I don't know. Sometimes you go so far past something that it gets funny.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
I don't know. Just try to enjoy Halloween. And by the way, if you have problems, getting your Halloween goods this year, plan ahead, pick up your candy now. Oh, the BLM movement is out here. Black Lives Matter costume. A racial justice reckoning in our country is powerful, but that doesn't mean you should turn it into a Halloween costume. Yes, it does. It does, because you should be able to mock whatever you want. I mean, the Two Towers costumes, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it.
I mean, I am.
They did some nice work on this. They got Barbies falling out the windows and stuff like that. I'm a fan of grown humor too.
Yes, Jeremy, we know you're an asshole. That's enough of Jeremy. I'm done with Jeremy. Ugh. I need something to get the taste of that out of my mouth. Let's end on something positive. Let me think. I had an idea and I completely lost it earlier. I was listening to Jeremy's like, oh, we can go watch something like this afterwards because I thought it'd be better. And nope, I lost it. If anyone's got something to suggest, let me know. We need some good, positive vibes. Lofty Pursuits. Yeah, really. Let me think here. Oh, Lofty Pursuits, the channel. My bad. You know, sure, why not? Sure. Oh, no, wait. I have seen this channel before. I have. I think I remember looking into this one before. See, I have seen this before. See, I watched this one, the number 160. Let's find a fun one. Beer flavored shamrock candy. Honey baked ham. Ew. You know what? We'll do some corn candy. Why not? It's a little older, but should still check out, right?
Welcome to Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Greg, and today I'm going to start a series of candies based on a Thanksgiving feast. A true fall feast of flavors. One of the things I find fascinating about flavors is that they sort of can convert in your mind. You expect things not to be candy.
October 2019. The before time.
So as I start to make the candy by pouring the hot sugar on my candy cooling table, let's think about this.
It's amazing to think that during that time we had no idea that the pandemic was coming.
We think of sweet corn as something just on the dining room table. But if you were in Asia, it would be a traditional candy flavor. And you can even find it as an ice cream flavor in Puerto Rico. So I thought this was a good place to start the series. Sweet buttered corn. Originally, we were going to just do plain corn, but we figured we could do better than that. And because we're going against the grain, I want to make it clear here that this is corn candy and not candy corn. As I stir in the food coloring, all the water boils out. I wish you could hear it. It makes a soft bubbling sound. It's music to my ears. And we're ending up with a palette of green and yellow to produce our corn candy. The sugar mixture looks like it has water in it, but it's actually just hot sugar, so we need the water in the food coloring to boil out, or our candy will become sticky over time.
Ooh.
The cornerstone of this design is the color, so I've got to separate them out. I'm going to be cutting out the yellow and the green, and then the amber in the middle. Well, you're going to see what happens to that. This was a difficult batch. I'm not quite sure why, but the candy decided to stick a little to the table. I found it eerie that it did that. I know the flavors I'm about to list go a little against the grain for many of you out there, but I'm hoping to do between 5 and 8 flavors on top of this corn.
Really?
And we'll see how the assortment works out. But we've tested these flavors and they're wonderful. We're going to do cranberry and sweet potato.
Ooh,
we
sweet
might
potato
do
sounds
peach
good.
cobbler, and we're definitely going to do a glass of red wine because I like to have red wine at the feast. And all these flavors translate wonderfully into candy. And they are candy in many cultures. But we could also do things like apple pie and pumpkin pie, sweet buttered rolls.
Ooh.
Heck, I wonder if we could do a honey-baked ham. In any event, if you put in a pre-order for this, or an order when we're done, you're going to get the full selection of the full feast. When we're done with the full list, and as we do it, we'll post updates on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we hope you're going to find this as amazing as we do. I often pull the candy on the hook, but this time I'm using our candy pulling machine, sometimes known as a taffy puller, although, well, this is not taffy. I did it because I was looking at the machine, I'd been tuning it up all week, and I went, shucks, I really want to use this, and it's going to be easier on my back.
You gotta love stuff like this. It's just so satisfying, isn't it?
It pulls the candy again and again, and it pulls in millions of air bubbles, and those air bubbles make the candy white and reflect light. They also affect the flavor. Because we've pulled it so much, the candy has more surface area from these bubbles, so it dissolves a little faster in your mouth, giving you a bigger burst of flavor. I usually use this machine for big batches or when I'm tired, and on this day, oh, I was creamed.
Look at that.
And then I realized I had to use the hook anyway. I guess it was kind of stalking me. I had to blend some white with the yellow to make the yellow opaque. And of course, we're only making a limited quantity of this candy, so if you're interested in trying it, please go to our website, www.pd.net, because you're only going to find it here. Or if you're in Tallahassee, you can come into Lofty Pursuits when it's done and pick it up in person. We're right off I-10 near the Thomasville Road exit. And you know you'll only find it at Lofty Pursuits because we appear to have cornered the market on it.
Ho ho. The dad jokes. Look at that. That is a nice yellow.
Kernel of wisdom when it comes to candy making. It's easier to make one thing and duplicate it than to make a lot of things. In this case, we're going to make one piece of corn, one little kernel. We're going to stretch it out really long and we're going to keep on cutting it. We're going to start by cutting it into 12 pieces and making one corn row out of it. If you're enjoying this video, not only should you subscribe and ring the notification bell, but you should also check out our podcast. You can hear me, Greg, tell other stories on a weekly basis, and you can get it wherever podcasts are downloaded, or go to our website, www.pd.net.
This is pleasing,
There's
though.
a button in the upper right-hand corner marked podcasts. You can get it there. They come out every week, and if you want to get them 4 weeks early, you can become a Patreon subscriber. Thank you, our subscribers. You get this podcast produced for everybody, and we all appreciate it. As you know, one row of corn will not mount to a thornhill of beans, but we need to make multiple ones, so we stretch out our row and we cut into 5 pieces. We stagger the rows, and that's going to get us those straight rows of kernels you see on every ear of corn. I know I'll be fielding questions soon because I made a mistake, so I'm going to preempt this. I did 5 rows of kernels. I should have done 6. As everyone knows, corn never forms an odd number of rows, they're always even. You see, the kernels form in pairs down the husk, and I made only 5, so this is like a unicorn out there, something you'll never find in nature.
Look at this.
All that's left for me to do is to cobble together the husk of this corn, and once that green goes around the yellow, the image is going to just pop. I've never done this design before, and I'm really happy how it came out, even if I had to play the design by ear. Some of these designs you think are going to be hard end up being fairly easy, like this one. And other ones you think are going to be easy, but it's like navigating your way blindfolded through a maze to get them done.
Look at
And now
that.
we're going to put some white padded candy around it. And of course this is where most of the flavor is, but it's also going to space it out to make the design round, even though our little logo is a bit oblong.
So what's this one going to be used for, I wonder?
The next step is to make a yellow outer wrap.
Ah.
We're going to do that, and we're going to wrap it around the center, and the log is done. Now we have to make it into thousands of bite-sized pieces instead of one piece that's too big for anyone to eat. We do that by tapering the design down without distorting the image. And then we cut off the end that's been distorted at the end, because the end never comes out quite right, nothing ever meets. And we sell those off, but only in our store. We call them unicorn droppings, and you have to make it to Tallahassee if you want to get one. The candy is loaded on our batch roller, and this keeps the candy moving. If we let the candy sit still, it's going to go flat. And by doing this, we keep a round shape and the candy comes out nice. And then we pull that candy from that log into the rods.
Damn.
And one after another, we roll them until they cool and become hard.
That's really just
We need to
impressive.
make sure the candy is round before we stop moving it. But the smaller rods of candy dispense heat much faster than the thick ones, and they cool down with a remarkable speed. So fast, in fact, we have to move pretty fast at this stage on a cool day. We're now doing irregular live streams on our PD Confection Facebook page. That's our Facebook page for candy making. We also have a Lofty Pursuits Facebook page for the store. We do Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube here. Ring that bell when you subscribe. And you can join our Patreon channel if you want to get our podcast early and if you want to support the production of these videos. Thanks to all of our Patreon subscribers.
Speaking of which, you should subscribe here too. There, I've shilled. I'm gonna get back to the candy for now.
And this candy gets shucked into its individual bite-sized pieces.
Look at that.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to try this candy for yourself, please go to our website at www.pd.net. We ship worldwide. You can also get our candy in our store. We're right off I-10 in Tallahassee, and if you're ever driving through, we open at 7 a.m. for brunch. We close at 10 p.m. We serve ice cream in the evenings, food in the mornings, and we're open 7 days a week. We'd love to see you, and if you're lucky, you can see us make candy. We make candy most days, but we don't make candy all the time. Also, check out the links in the descriptions because I'm going to try to link to a copy.
All right. Gotta say, good stuff all around. But yeah, it is 2:30. I've been streaming for a while, and I think it's time for us to go ahead and let's raid out somewhere. Let's see, who is going right now that we can raid to? Let's see. Apache, Tales of Rise on that one. There's Cirrus is going. Cirrus is playing some Sonic right now, it looks like. What do y'all think? Where do you want to go? See, I know Jake's streaming, but Jake's been on for almost 4.5 hours, so I doubt he'll be on much longer, so... You're gonna head to bed, probably? That's fair. You know what? Since it's spooky stuff, I know who we can go towards. I'm gonna send you all over to Mason the Robin. Haven't gone there in a while, so I'm gonna raid out that way. Jump in, go share some love. Mason's playing Visage, so it's a adventure puzzle. It looks kind of like horror based. So it should be a good time. I'll be back Tuesday, and we'll be picking up where I left off with The Evil Within 2. So I'll see you then around 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to drop a sub if you haven't yet. Do the follow, all that good stuff. And I'll be back in a few days. Enjoy your Monday. Stay safe, everyone. And yeah, I'll see you over there. Have a pleasant night. Bye.